Yeah. 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 Shake it, but keep pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eye. The Bible guy, he reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy, he turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy, watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, folks. Oh, I have to turn that off. Howdy, folks. Good to see you all here. Bible Guy here, coming at you live from Northeast Texas. How's everyone doing today? Hope we're all doing really good on this fine, what is it, Wednesday? I don't even know anymore. It's Thursday, because I don't go live on Wednesdays. What am I thinking? How's everyone doing today on this fine Thursday evening? It is Thursday, April the 16th, 2026. And hopefully today we can get some interesting conversations that aren't just a bunch of babies or crash outs. Ooh, I don't think I've caught the theme song yet. Well, there you go. There you go. Kind of crazy that I never knew one day I would have a theme song, which is crazy. But here we are. Oh, and wearing one of my new shirts today that I got from my brother-in-law. Obedient slaves for Christ is king. I don't remember. I know I'm an American. I don't have a king. So he might. I don't know what he's king over. Dead people can't be kings. But obedient slave for Christ, you're more than welcome to come up if you wanted to give me an answer for one of the 7 points on the board. Ooh, I guess you might not be able to see the 7th one. Let me see. There we go. Is there? You should play this song when you enter a room. The Bible Guy song. God, I don't think I have that big of a head. Not yet. But you know what, guys, I did get something really nice did happen yesterday. I was just minding my own business, and one of the friends of the show, Lou sent me Ian, allegedly Ian's live, and said, hey, Ian needs some help with some Greek stuff. And I went up there and I got to, tag team somebody with Ian. And then at the end of the little session, Ian gave me $190 so I could buy myself a copy of the BDAG lexicon. Like, holy hell. What a wonderful fella, Can you explain your position for the new viewers? My position is that I'm not convinced that any of these are true. You and Ian were unstoppable. Oh, that's very much appreciated. He's awesome. They're awesome. 100%. Ian, absolutely. Get a huge W to Ian in the comment section on YouTube and TikTok, everybody. Yeah. What's one of the really cringiest things that I started noticing not too long ago? Sometimes, I'll go back and I'll look at like the very last comments on like the YouTube live, and it'd always be some Christian who just like has to get the last word in. They type in Jesus is king because they know the live is really about to end. So if they can get that last word in, then somehow it's almost like a dog pissing on some piece of property trying to mark it as its own. It's really quite silly. I don't know why they do that. It's because they got nothing else. Want to know if you were brought up? I was brought up. Titus says like this. Yes, everyone do what Titus says and like the live. Absolutely. In religion, I was raised up in religion. AJ says, I prefer Burger King and fries to Jesus King and lies. Oh man, what a line. Love that. Good for you. I love that. It's so funny. Where did you learn Hebrew and Greek? It just took years of like looking into lexicons, and like also I did take a small Greek course recently, like last year or the year before, on the new the Great Courses Plus. They have a Koine Greek course on there. Was really helpful. Really enjoyed that. Do you think there's a better argument against Christianity than Davidic lineage? I mean, I think the killer argument against Christianity is that Jesus just didn't fulfill any prophecies whatsoever. It's impressive. The best I got was learning English. English is not my forte. Thank you for the cowboy hat. Yeehaw. Also, like my sister today commented on, because I shaved and all I have now is the mustache, and I usually get told, are you a cop? Which I'm not, but my sister said, I said, what do you think of the stash? And she said, yeah, I like it. Makes you look like Mario. So I guess with that, let's go. We're gonna bring up Canadian as our first guest. Canadian, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions. Are you at least 18?
Yeah.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Bro, he, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yeah.
Alrighty then. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 7 points on the board would you like to give me an answer for?
Let me just read all of them.
All of them? We gotta start with just one.
Christian, Jesus. Okay.
Why don't they ever
Let's
read
go
before
with
coming?
6.
Number 6, is God good? Okay, is God good?
Yeah.
All right, why should I think he is?
Oh, this is a different question. Why should you think he is? Because he says he is.
Is that, you think that's sufficient? Someone tells you they're good and you just believe them?
Well, I don't think God is just like me and you. If somebody who has foreknowledge, knows everything, tells me that he's good, and he, shows he's good.
Someone who can predict the future, if they tell you they're good, they're good? That's your criteria? Really?
I mean, oh, okay. I had no clue you wanted to cut me off before I finished, so you could go ahead. Finish up what I was saying.
No, like, you really think that's a good standard?
Was that the only thing I was going to say, or did you cut me off before I got to finish?
I thought you were done. Finish.
Oh, okay. So, well, go ahead. You wanted to finish for me for cutting me off. Go ahead.
I didn't know you were not done. You sounded like you were done. So.
Okay. So here's my argument. Because God is the objective bearer, right? And he creates the standard. That face was actually funny.
He has a standard.
But because God is literally the first and the last, he creates the standard for mere humans like us. So when you say something like, if I was to say that, would you go? Oh no, you're not God. You didn't create.
Why should I care about God's subjective opinion?
Oh, that's easy. So
because it's not objective.
It's not. Oh wait, it's subjective.
Yeah, it's subjective. It stands dependent. It comes from a mind, God's mind. Therefore, it's subjective.
Who said that? Is that what Christians believe? That we base our morals inside of his mind?
I don't care what Christians think. Like, where? Oh wait, if
you don't care.
If the morals aren't coming from God's mind, where are they coming from?
His essence.
What does that even mean? What's essence?
So his essence. So essence is what makes up what God is. It's what he is. So it's not bound by time or a space.
His morals come from like what? His thigh, his penis, his abs.
Okay, let's
what
not.
What is God made out of? I don't understand.
What is God made out of?
Yeah,
we don't know.
What? So you're saying his morals come from his essence. Essence is just a placeholder word for something. I don't know what that means.
Okay, go ahead. You want it? It sounds like you know my whole argument. Go ahead. You want to keep cutting me off and stuff?
I don't know. Like, how does God's morals?
Okay, so
come
can
from
I explain?
Yeah, tell me, how does God's morals come from his essence?
Thank you. Okay, so because the essence is not restricted in time and it's not restricted in a given space, and because the essence is what makes up what he is, the persons, his energies, acts according to the essence.
Okay, we're gonna have a lot of words we're gonna have to define in a second. Keep going.
Yeah. So whenever even the persons act in accordance to the essence, they're acting perfectly. And therefore, we could also conclude that the essence is good, perfect, love, etc., just like in Christian theology.
All right, let's just start with that first one, that God is outside of time, you said?
Yeah, time is just a measurement.
Yeah, well, can you provide any evidence that God exists outside of time? Because the Bible doesn't say that. I guess you worship the God in the Bible, right?
Oh, okay. So now we're not talking about if God is good. We're talking about the
Wait.
existence of God now. Okay,
Well,
let's switch
your belief
thing.
that
I'm fine
God
with
is
switching.
good seems to be dependent upon all these like assumptions about the nature of God.
Well, what do you mean? This is burden shifting.
No,
Not
no,
burden
no,
shifting,
no. The
goalpost shifting.
burden has been on you since the very beginning. But you started talking about God being outside of time as a reason to believe this. But well, I don't think that God in the Bible is outside of time. The Bible doesn't say that.
Okay. Okay, even if he was inside of time, outside of time, etc. How does this have any like?
I don't
This
know
is
why
not
you
like
brought
to
any,
the topic of
I don't know why
God
you
being good.
I don't know why you brought any of this up. I still don't understand why
You
you
were
think
the
God
one who
is
went
good.
down this line of reasoning.
You're the one who went down this line of reasoning. I still don't understand why you think God is good.
Because he's the one who he's basically like good. We put good inside of God. You can't act in bad.
God is good because he's good. That's circular.
Well, he's literally good. That's not circular.
That is
He
circular.
good.
God is good because,
How?
and the reason I know that is because God is good. That's literally
If
circular.
there's an objective, okay, let me clarify my position. If there's an objective, a person who could bear like and create objective standards, right? So if they say something that's
what
absolute,
makes them objective?
And okay, my bad. Again, you cut me off. You could finish off.
No.
What was I gonna say?
Yeah, what makes
Go
them
ahead, go ahead.
objective? What makes them objective?
Okay, good. You could just finish up my argument.
No, that was a
Go
question.
ahead.
No, that was a question. What makes them objective?
Because God is he's the one who creates.
Why does creating anything make his more like? Did he create morality?
Because that means we're dependent upon him, and he knows what's best for us.
Says who?
So when God,
assumption. What
this
makes
is
you
a
think?
God, bro.
What
This
makes
is
you? What
this
makes
is
you
a
think
existence
that?
argument.
What makes you think that the God of the Bible has your best interest at heart?
Because he's said certain things and he hasn't lied about certain things.
He lies all the time. What are you talking about? What makes you think God's
My God lies?
God lies. Yeah, in the Bible he does.
Oh, okay. How do you know that lying is bad?
That's my subjective opinion, but like you made the claim that God
but
doesn't
I
lie.
think lying is. I think
You
lying
think lying's
is
good? You think lying's good?
Yeah, there's some
So
well,
you're okay.
okay, wait, hold
so
on,
it's
hold
good
on.
for God to lie then. That's nice. That's
Okay,
nice where
I
we're getting
literally
to.
my best. Okay, hold on. The subjective morality thing. My best friend is literally like I think he's like a non-diagnosed psychopath. He literally thinks that grape. There's no like there's no bearing to if he exists, etc., right? So I'm just trying to demonstrate to you that there's even like the subjective morality thing. Here, dude. Like,
Are you?
people
do you have
literally
any,
think that
so wait a
grape
minute.
doesn't have bad.
Is your only evidence for objective morality that you just don't like subjective morality?
No, subjective morality can't logically exist.
It does exist. Do I have a moral system?
It exists? How do you know
Yeah.
that things exist in reality?
Yeah, because I observe them. So do I have a moral system?
You observe.
Do I, the Bible guy, have a moral system?
Perfect. So in
No,
order to know something, you have to observe it.
Do I, the Bible guy, have a moral system?
No, you don't have a consistent
I don't
one.
have. I didn't ask if it was consistent. We can get to that later. Do I have a moral system?
You don't because you don't know that you exist, or you don't know if anything.
I do know I
exists,
exist. I think, therefore, I am.
Bro's an Alex O'Connor.
Wow.
So you're an idealist?
Wait. In order to like say that I don't exist, it would be self-defeating because I would have to think that I don't exist, and there can be no non-existing if there's an I. You understand that?
So you're an idealist.
I don't know what that means. I'm not a philosopher. I'm the Bible guy.
Okay, so do you think consciousness comes from our brain or from material?
Our brains are material, so yes.
Okay, so where does the consciousness arise from? From us?
Our brains, yeah, as far as I can tell.
Okay, good. So
you give me a good reason to think otherwise.
What is my mom doing upstairs? Anyways, so me and you, we are the ones who endow things because we have consciousness.
What do you mean endow?
So for example, if me and you were to look at like a rooster, and we were to call it Bob or something, me and you are the ones that are giving that given thing a label, something qualitative.
Calling it the name Bob? Sure. We name things.
Okay, good. And let's say that it's never been discovered before. Me and you look at it and we're like, wow, it's Bob.
We just discovered the rooster?
Yeah, and
In
we're
this
just calling it
scenario-
a Bob.
In this scenario, we've never seen roosters before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could just call it, we should name it Bob. That's fine.
Okay, so
Why
good.
no?
And does that thing exist?
The rooster? Yeah, as far as I can tell.
Okay, so the people who haven't seen it before, let's say
Uh-huh.
that there's a person a house down that hasn't seen the rooster.
Uh-huh.
In their reality, does that rooster exist?
They're not aware of it. In their reality, yes, but in their mind, they're not aware of it.
But then
Hey,
you're
could you,
special pleading.
Hey, fun fact, a request. Could you act like an adult? That'd be fantastic. At making little
No,
fart
but you just-
making little fart noises only makes you look silly. It doesn't make me look silly. I answered your question. So, does the rooster exist in reality? Yes. Are they aware of the existence of the rooster? No, not yet.
So you can know things inside of reality that you haven't observed.
No, they wouldn't know that the rooster existed yet because they hadn't observed it.
But is the rooster in existence? Is it in
Yes.
reality?
Yes, the rooster exists
Have
in
they
reality,
observed
independent
it?
of whether or not I've observed it yet.
But okay, host, I'm using your bearings. You said that
My
in order to
bearings?
know something, our consciousness comes from our mind, and we're the ones who endow a given thing after seeing it. So now the person,
What's with this word endow? Okay, a rooster exists independent of whether or not I exist, and then I come across it. And let's say I'm the first person who discovers it, then I attribute a word to describe this object so that I can like label it, and I call it rooster. The rooster existed before my brain was aware of it. I became aware of it once I saw it.
okay, so good. So that's why I asked the person down the street inside of a house, before they were able to acknowledge it or see it, did
See.
that exist inside of their reality? Did that exist?
They weren't aware of it.
Okay, but did it exist in reality?
Well, since their reality is my reality, like we exist in the same universe, then yes, the rooster did
Perfect.
exist.
So you just affirmed that
really
things
thinks
could
he's
exist
cooking.
inside of a reality that you
yes.
haven't observed again.
Yes, I think the yes,
Bro
I think
just affirmed God.
he really thinks he's cooking, doesn't he? He hasn't said anything of any substance. I've always said that the universe objectively exists. Guys, do I need to bring out the Philbro timer? Because I think the guest is lost. So yeah, the universe exists. I'm not convinced yet that a God exists. Why would someone becoming aware of the existence of an object prove that a God exists? You're embarrassing yourself, Canadian.
Okay. Perfect. So now you just affirmed that things could exist that you haven't observed.
Sure.
Correct?
And I'm not, but am I justified in belief?
Perfect.
But am I justified in believing?
Perfect.
But am I justified in believing in their existence at a point
That's where
prior
we're going.
to my
That's where we're
observation
going.
of them?
Mm-hmm. So now we have to look at
That
your
was a question.
epistemology for you.
That was a question.
We're
That was a question.
We're getting to it.
That was a question. Just a yes or no.
Let's get to the substance.
No, that's a question. Yes or no.
Okay, ask the
Am I
question again. Ask the
am I
question again.
justified in believing the existence of something prior to my coming to a knowledge that it exists?
You need evidence, so you're
There we
not
go.
justified unless you have evidence.
Here we go.
So now could we get to the substance?
Sure. What's the what's the evidence that God is good? Because we seem to have gotten far
Okay.
away.
Oh, you
from
want to
the
go back
topic.
to that?
I
You're the
mean,
one who switched
you're
it.
the one who keeps getting us away from the topic. You've yet given me a good reason to think
Dude.
that God is not just good, but that his morals are objective.
Okay, host. Let's be polite. Respectfully,
Respectfully.
respectfully,
You were doing that earlier. You think you're respectful? You think you've been
you
respectful?
were the one who
You think
got
you-
us
you-
to
you
this
think-
argument. So
You think you've been respectful in this conversation? You think that's what's been happening? Are you delusional?
no, I haven't been respectful. I've been
All right.
laughing. I've been doing noises.
Yeah,
I've been
don't-
laughing.
Good. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Now, why should I think God
Okay.
is? I'm just going to bring us back to the beginning of the conversation.
Well, you're the one who
Uh,
changed it.
No, you were the one who changed it. Now I'm going to bring us back to the
Okay, you could
conversation.
say, can you save
Here,
the whole
let's just,
video?
Let's just start
Can
from
you
the
save the
beginning.
whole live and send it to me,
Let's
please?
just start from the beginning. you say God is good. Why should I think God is good? What does
Okay,
what does
perfect,
that word
perfect.
even
But
mean?
okay, good, perfect. So even before honest, I'm fine with that conversation. But can you send me the whole live so I know that
You can go
you're
on my
not lying
YouTube
and
and
I'm not
watch
lying?
it. You can go on my YouTube and watch
Okay,
it.
so it's saved. It's gonna be
Now,
saved. Okay,
why should
perfect. So
I
now
think
answer.
that God
God
is
determines
good
what
and
is
what is
good
good?
and what is bad. Because God determines
So
it.
it's just
And
whatever
God
God.
exists.
So murder or genocide would be good if God said so. In your worldview,
Okay. G-side, no. God has never committed a G-side in
God
Numbers and Deuteronomy.
God has committed a genocide in 1 Samuel chapter 15,
Okay,
verse 3.
so what's a G-side according to you?
A genocide is a complete wiping out of an ethnic group.
And is that bad?
I'm asking you, is it bad? Is genocide bad in your worldview? Yeah, stop doing that. You're making yourself look really bad. Is genocide good or bad in your worldview?
G-side is bad, but God doesn't commit G-side.
All right, so let's take a look at 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 3.
Samuel, where we wiped out the Amalekites.
Yeah, did he wipe them out? The men, the women, the children,
Okay,
and
good.
the babies?
I'm fine with talking about that. So
Yeah,
do
did
you
he wipe
think
them
that
out?
G-side is bad?
No, I'm
Do you
asking
think
you.
that
No,
G-side is bad?
you've made the claim that G-side is bad. I think G-side is bad, but so do
Were
you.
they
And so the question is, does God commit genocide?
Oh, so were they targeting a specific ethnic group trying to wipe them out?
Yes, the Amalekites.
Oh, so you're trying to say that my God is committing a G-side?
Genocide. Yes, your God committed.
Okay.
Well, your God commanded a genocide. The Israelites were the ones who actually did it.
Okay, so why is committing a G-side bad? I
bad
need to
in
know
my
your epistemology.
yeah. So let's start with some definition. By the word bad, I mean non-conducive to a certain goal. So the question is, what is the goal? And my goal is fairness and well-being, which is why I can say
is that abstract, host?
I'm not done. So bad is something which is not conducive to a certain goal that we have in mind. In my case, the goal is fairness and well-being. And since genocide is non-conducive to fairness and well-being, genocide is bad. Good means that something is like beneficial towards the goal. Genocide isn't beneficial towards the goal of fairness and well-being. If you have a different definition for good and bad, please just define it for us.
Beautiful, beautiful. I can't wait to watch this back. Also beautiful.
Yes, yes.
So your epistemology and you determining the good from bad is basically like an empathy concept. You're weighing how much it harms people.
Yeah, that's my goal, fairness and well-being.
Perfect, beautiful, perfect.
So tell me,
first first of all,
I'm gonna put the timer on because I'm getting kind of tired.
Okay, put the timer on me. Put the timer on me.
Yeah,
please. Give me like 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm gonna finish up now. So you're determining an empathy concept. You're weighing things. Now, first of all, this is abstract. So you affirmed that you're an idealist earlier. So
maybe I don't know what that means.
There's a certain thing that's firing in your brain that's telling you that this is wrong. I want you to tell me what is telling you.
Wrong is
what
just
is
short.
telling you.
Wrong is just short.
Please?
No, wrong is just shorthand.
Oh, I can't finish. Okay, go ahead.
You can.
Go ahead, finish for me.
Anyways, wrong just a shorthand for, again, it's synonymous with bad. It means this object doesn't get me to the goal, and the goal that I've set is fairness and well-being. So yeah, it's bad.
But you
it's
affirm
wrong.
Subjective morality, right?
Yeah, because that's all that exists.
Okay, good. So everything collapses because all you need is a posterior thing external to you, or a group or a test.
I don't know what posterior means.
Something posterior to your mind, because you said you're an idealist. Something that's posterior, somebody who could also endow things and give meanings to them, giving them a qualitative label.
Why should I care about their goals and opinions?
All I have to do to negate your position is say that there's no bearing on this abstract concept. It doesn't have a foundation. Therefore, people could just simply claim that grape. People just could simply claim that.
They could claim that, but like, But my definition of like my goal is fairness and well-being, and if something is non-conducive to that,
bro,
it's
you're
bad.
level 1.
I know you like
you're not, atheism.
I know you're not here to actually convince me. You're just here to win a debate, which is why you look
I'm not here to win a debate.
Yeah,
you're the one muting me.
You're the one calling me low tier, which is such a cringe thing that like Phil.
I didn't say low tier. What are you talking about?
Whatever the hell you just said, and you just tried to describe me. It's low tier. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's immature. You're not here to
What do you
convince.
mean?
You're not here to persuade anyone. You're just here to win. Anyways, my goal is fairness and well-being. Genocide isn't conducive to that. Therefore, in my subjective opinion, it's bad and wrong. And all I've got is subjective morals. I've never been given any evidence of there being objective morals.
Okay, what you're not getting, host, is that you just affirmed that this doesn't have a foundation to being morally like. There's no obligation that's binding, or people shouldn't believe your opinion.
There is an obligation.
Because it's subjective.
There is an obligation. If your goal
Is
also
empathy abstract?
if your goal is also fairness and well-being, then you do have an obligation not to commit genocide.
Yeah, that's special pleading. You're
It's not
presupposing
special
that
pleading.
people want that.
No,
You're presupposing that.
I'm not presupposing. I said if your goal is fairness and well-being,
Perfect.
then you have
So it's dependent.
then you have a obligation to not commit genocide.
Perfect. So it's dependent upon the if, correct?
Yeah, if your goal is the same as mine.
Bro, you just
Don't act like a child.
You conceded.
I didn't concede
You
anything.
just conceded.
I didn't concede anything. I don't think
Yes,
you're
you did. You said you.
I don't think you're tracking the conversation.
You
I
said
think
the
you're
whole
lost,
thing is
bud.
dependent
I
upon
think
the
you're
if.
crashing the fuck out on my live.
You said the whole thing is dependent upon the if, and
yeah.
your epistemology is based off of
Do you
something
not?
abstract.
So Canadian, do you
It
not?
doesn't have
Canadian, is your goal
You
not?
just affirmed.
Canadian, is your goal not wellness and fairness and well-being? Is that not your goal? If not, you might be a dangerous individual.
Don't ask my paradigm to bail you.
Is your goal fairness and well-being or not?
My paradigm.
Is your goal fairness and well-being?
Yes.
If not, you might be a dangerous person. Okay, then you agree with me. You have a goal, and we share that goal. And the reason
I don't
why
agree with you. No.
and you don't agree that we should have
I don't
the
have
goal
to
of
grant that.
You don't have the goal.
I get my
goal.
fairness from God. You get it from your brain.
There's no fairness in Christianity.
That's the point. You conceded.
There's no fairness in Christianity. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? You're saying you get it from your brain.
Yeah. Where else would I get it?
I get it from something posterior that could objectively create things.
There's nothing objective about God's. There's nothing objective about God's opinions.
My foundation is in God's.
Look at him losing his mind right now. He's yet to.
What do you mean? You keep muting.
You've yet to give us any reason to think that God's opinions are objective. You just keep asserting it.
No, that's a fallacy.
No, it's not a fallacy. Name the fallacy.
You're saying that we ground it in God's mind and stuff. That's just a fallacy. I told you I ground it in his essence.
And that doesn't even make any sense. That's a nonsense statement.
What do you mean?
What does that even mean for God's morals to come from his essence?
Back, bro. Atheism is
I wish you would watch this back. What does it even mean for God's morals to come from his essence? It's nonsense.
Bro, this is cooked, bro.
This is cooked, bro. Anyways, congratulations on wasting all your time and embarrassing yourself on my live. You didn't convince us. Yeah, go fuck yourself. You didn't give us any good reason to think that objective morals existed. You just declared that they come from God's essence when it's a nonsense statement. But congratulations on wasting your time. God, I hate Phil Bros. They can never, look, guys, as you clearly see, Phil Bros can never give an argument for objective morals. They just can only do is assert that they exist. We're all the worst because of that. Yeah. Absolute brain rot. All right. We're going to talk to Rabbi Daniel Aryeh. Rabbi Daniel Aryeh.
Hey, how are you? Hey.
How you doing?
Thank God. Thank God.
Real quick, I just have to ask you, I ask all my new guests these same 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the conversation at hand. Are you at least 18?
Yes.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Repeat the second question. I'm sorry.
What pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And I guess you're not a Christian, right? You're Jewish.
Yes. So yeah, that's why I'm a Jewish. I wanted to maybe offer you a different perspective on this issue because I've been listening for the past few minutes, and it's very interesting, this debate, right?
On which number on the board?
So, is God good, right? Number 6. I first wanted to discuss if he exists in your world or not, because meaning why would we debate about if he's good or bad if he doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, I'm not convinced that any God exists.
So I want to first separate before I attempt to convince you possibly that God exists, although obviously I don't believe that I will change your mind because I heard, well, we know from psychology that it's almost impossible to truly change somebody's mind once they firmly believe in something, right?
No, I disagree. I firmly believed in Christianity, and I had my mind changed.
Okay, interesting. So you were a Christian, and then you decided to become adapt an atheistic.
I went from Christianity to Judaism as a Noahide, and then to deism, and then just atheism.
Interesting. Okay, so you're like sampling a little bit here and there. I mean, that's not. Yeah, it's pretty normal. I mean, so back to the intellectual aspect of it, like I want to explore a model of thought with your permission, which is like if he exists, before we discuss if he's good, because there could be, let's say for argument's sake, he does exist, but he's evil, right? Let's just for argument's sake say that's a possibility.
Yeah, God could be morally complex if he existed.
So, and obviously, because the Bible, we have, genocidal events, like you said, we wiped out certain people get wiped out here and there. So definitely it brings up the question, you have to ask, why does he act like this, right? So that's a question.
I think the best reasonable answer for why Yahweh specifically acts the way he does is because despite what the book of Genesis says, it wasn't man that was made in God's image, but the inverse, that Yahweh was made in the image of man. That the Israelite God basically just looked and acted like an Israelite king, but just to a more higher magnitude. So he's okay with wiping out Israel's enemies because Israel is okay with wiping out Israel's enemies.
Well, if Israel wrote the Bible, I mean, then it would be probably a safe assumption that we would want to be the victorious ones in the book that we wrote, right? That makes sense, right? Any author who authors a book would make themselves look good.
Yeah.
So that's pretty normal. That's understandable, right? So, but even besides for the book itself, and in Genesis, we do say that, right? So God, we are made in the image of God, but Salam Aleikum, right? Like that human being, we're made in the image of God.
Yeah, and I interpret that simply to mean that human beings were made to look like Yahweh and the other gods.
By who? Or what?
They were made by Yahweh, and they were made to look like Yahweh. So, like, God has 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, etc., and human beings were made to mirror that morphologically.
Okay, understood. So in your worldview, Yahweh is an entity or God himself, or he exists?
The God of the Bible is not very unique in regards to like how ancient Near Eastern deities were portrayed.
But my question is, first we have to establish if there is an entity out there that is not human, and B, does have power over the control of planet Earth, or, the controlling the weather, etc., functions, human beings.
Sure. Do we have any reason to think that a God could exist?
I think so. And personally, I do believe in God or some kind of father figure who runs the world because I know my thoughts emerge from somewhere. So I know that there is somebody who delivers these thoughts into my mind. I know there's a higher form of consciousness.
I wouldn't say your thoughts are delivered into your mind. Your thoughts come forth from your mind. Your brain is generating your thoughts, as far as I can tell.
Right. And I know that my brain had to have been created by an intellectual designer.
No, it was formed naturally in the womb.
So this is perhaps, go ahead. So this is really a key point in the classic debate, right, between atheism versus like monotheism, is the idea of, is there an original creator, or did the world kind of evolve by itself? Meaning, and that's a tough stretch for me to swallow, because I like to think of myself as scientific. I know if I build a table, it's gonna take a while. I have to assemble it and everything. Sure. So to think that like a gigantic globe just popped up by itself is like wishful thinking to me.
No, that's not analogous though, because tables are known to be human made. Like they don't occur within nature. Trees, though, which you made the table out of wood, in which the wood comes from trees. Trees do just like reproduce on their own through natural means, and this was kickstarted by evolution, and then like ultimately through abiogenesis. No need for a God.
There's no need for a God. So that's interesting. So let's say there's no need for a God, which is possible. We could say there's a possibility that there is no need for a God. However, I would argue that there needs to be some initial causation for the first Adam.
I don't think so. I don't think there was a first Adam. I think that all like matter has always existed. The universe is eternal.
How could something just exist? My question would be right away, how can I swallow that
like
something
Yahweh.
just exists on its own?
How could I swallow that God just existed always on his own?
Interesting. Maybe I should swallow that God exists. Meaning if evolution can have just popped up by itself, then definitely it's possible that God created everything as well.
I mean, I don't think it's possible until it's demonstrated that God exists.
But I don't think evolution was necessarily demonstrated either.
We've seen evolution. We can still see it happening today. Evolution is simply just like the change of allele frequencies from one generation to the next. And we have seen that occur.
We've seen it occur, but what we haven't seen, which is interesting, right, is the first Adam being created.
The first Adam wasn't created.
Or let's say it was exists by its own existence. We didn't see it emerge. Or
the subatomic particles that make up atoms probably always existed, and then the natural forces, the strong, the weak nuclear force, the electromagnetic force, and the gravitational force acted upon these subatomic particles and resulted in like rapid expansion of the universe.
Yes, and it's interesting, and this is plausible, and it's also equally plausible that some intelligent designer put it into play.
I don't think it's plausible until it's not plausible until the deity is demonstrated to exist.
Well, it's interesting because we haven't demonstrated either side. We haven't demonstrated the absolute truth that atoms always existed. We can't prove that atoms always existed.
Well, no, it's like you can't get something from nothing, and we do have something, therefore there was never nothing. And nothing as a concept doesn't even like, it's illogical and contradictory to believe that there was ever nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And if something does exist, then it kind of has to be created by a creator.
No, it doesn't. It could just always exist.
Well, can you prove that something can always exist? Can you give me a proof?
Does God exist?
Well, perhaps.
Well, you would have to say he does exist, because he says,
I believe so.
He says, Ehye asher ehye, I am that I am. Am is I will be what I will be is a statement of existence. So if God exists, then does that mean that God has a creator?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question again?
If God exists, does God have a creator?
So this is a very interesting point, and we believe, and again, notice how I'm saying believe, because I cannot prove it scientifically, and I'm aware of this. We believe that God does not have a creator in Judaism.
And I would say the universe doesn't have a creator. I do have direct evidence that nature exists. I have that direct evidence all around me, but I've never been given any good evidence for the supernature. So it's not even on the table.
I appreciate the honesty. Honestly, it's really good, because I believe through honesty we will get at least closer to the truth. Maybe not to the whole truth, but at least somewhere. So it's like, if it exists, perhaps it does have to have a creator. In fact, I would be impressed if you could prove to me of something that exists on its own accord without a creator.
Everything. No, because the default position is that there is no creator. So it's not up to me to like prove that there is no creator. It's up to you to prove that there is one.
The default position is that. So now, how do we set a default position into play? Because somebody has to frame it as this is the default position.
The default position is always, no matter what we're talking about, that a thing does not exist until it can be demonstrated to exist. So, for example, like, is there a teapot orbiting Jupiter right now? There could
probably
be,
not,
but probably not. And the most responsible thing to do is to say that I'm going to lack belief that this thing exists until it is demonstrated to exist. And for anyone to make the claim that the teapot does exist, it's not for me to prove that it doesn't, it's for them to prove that it does. Same with Bigfoot, same with fairies, same with the Loch Ness Monster, same with or anything natural or anything supernatural. The default position is that the thing doesn't exist until it's demonstrated to exist.
I hear what you're saying, and I appreciate it. I want to perhaps offer this school of thought, which is, I believe it's equally plausible to say, at least in this frame that either evolution or God created the world according to this reasoning, because we can't prove evolution, because I know that for a fact nobody was there when the first Adam was created.
We absolutely can prove evolution, and
How?
we have because we've seen it. We've seen it in the lab. We've seen speciation occur in a laboratory setting. We've seen parts of it,
but can you tell me that you have
the only difference,
firsthand evidence that atoms always existed on their own accord?
Oh no, that's the default position, because a beginning to the universe doesn't exist until you can demonstrate that it does.
I would argue on that a little bit and push back, because the universe exists, which means we don't have to prove it exists because it's observable.
But like the idea that
the default position is, since it's observable, it's true, it's proven.
Yeah, but the idea that there is a beginning is that you're making a positive claim that there was a beginning, and until that's demonstrated, I'm going to lack belief that there was a beginning. So I have no reason to think that the universe has a beginning, and therefore that subatomic particles ever came into existence.
Okay, so in this school of thought, perhaps it would also make sense to say that there's two possible states. Either the world always existed, or it had a beginning. However, we can't know which one it was.
The world didn't always exist, just like the matter did.
It's not the default position to say the world always existed. How can that be proven?
Rabbi, the world came into existence about 4.5 billion years ago. The way that planets form is like through like nuclear fusion occurring in stars, and when those stars like explode, those heavier elements like gather together because of gravity, and that's how planets are formed. So no, the universe, I mean the world didn't always exist, but like all the subatomic particles or foundational forces that make up the universe did.
Okay, so now there's four possible positions. Either atoms always existed, or they had a beginning, and either the world always existed or it had a beginning. You're telling me you believe the world always that atoms always existed? According to your position, atoms always existed.
Atoms, but the things that make up atoms always existed. Atoms are not
neutrons, protons, electrons.
Yeah, not even that. Even go down further. The subatomic, the quarks, and maybe even like the fields or strings, the underlying fields or strings might be like the foundational thing that's always existed.
Why can't it be that there's an intelligent creator who created these quarks?
Because I have no evidence of it.
But you also have no evidence that they always existed on their own accord. That would be a stretch as well.
No, that's the default position again.
But the default position by who? Who said that that's going to be the default intellectual position?
Yeah, because as I've said universally, and the default position is always that things don't exist, or that we're not justified to think that things exist until they're demonstrated to exist. So again, the default position would have to be that the foundational parts of the universe always existed, because the creator, we're not justified to believe that it exists until it's been justified.
Well, why not? Because I'm saying it's equally plausible.
It's not equally plausible.
Either there's a creator.
I have direct evidence that nature exists. I don't have direct evidence that the supernature exists. Therefore, the default position, the most rational position to hold to, is that nature must have always existed until the supernature is demonstrated. They're just not on the same level.
Do you have evidence that quarks always existed? Because I would say that's a stretch. They had to have been created at a point in time.
No, not created. You keep sneaking in the word created. They could have been formed from some other, like I said, the fields or the strings that make up quarks. They could have formed.
Where did they come from?
Oh, they would have always existed, unless they're made up of something even more foundational. But whatever that thing is, we would need evidence of it.
That is a jump. That's a jump in logic.
It's not a jump. It's just like, it's just the default position.
To say that they always existed, I believe, is not provable.
No,
just like God.
That's the default position. I don't know. We keep saying, we're just going in circles, Rabbi. Until you can demonstrate that God exists, I'm not justified in believing that it does exist.
So I don't believe I'm going to be able to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that God, I won't be able to show you and say, here's God, I have him in a lightning in a bottle.
Then I won't be able to do that. Then I'm not going to believe, because I'm trying
to point out that perhaps it's equally.
It's not.
Go ahead.
It's not. I want to believe.
But why not? Because you still have.
Because I have evidence that nature exists, Rabbi. I don't have evidence that the supernature exists. Therefore,
but what you don't have evidence,
supernatural isn't even on the table for consideration. Until you can demonstrate that it exists.
No, it's true. I'm not even arguing supernatural right now. Right now, I'm trying to
God is
point
supernatural.
out. Yeah, I believe so. But I'm trying to point out, before we jump there, I'm trying to point out you don't have actual evidence that can prove whether it's more likely that quarks always existed versus that they were created at a point in time.
No, I do, because I have evidence that nature exists.
But that's not analogous.
That's not what the word analogy means. It's just the default position, Rabbi. I'm sorry that you have a hard time grasping onto that.
I hear you.
That is just how this works, though.
I understand. No, I understand. But also, it's a little bit of a jump, just a tiny jump. I'm not going to try to push you. I know that I respect your live. I enjoy this a lot. I enjoy this conversation.
Is it a jump to say that the teapot surrounding orbiting Jupiter doesn't exist?
A teapot? Oh, yeah. No, that would be a jump to say that there's a teapot around Jupiter for sure.
Yeah. Why would it be a jump not to say that I don't believe that the teapot exists?
There's no reason to believe that there would be a teapot. Right. Why would there be a teapot?
Why is it a jump to say that I'm not convinced that there was a beginning when I have no evidence of it?
You're not convinced? Well, everything has a beginning, so it's observable that, like, babies, for example, when they're born, they have a first day.
Then God has a beginning. See, the thing is...
before we analogize God, we have to say that he exists or not. So if you want to say that, you have to say he exists in order to...
No, Rabbi, I'm pointing out something here, is that you already believe that there's something which is eternal and has no beginning, and that thing is and that thing is supernatural. I also believe that there is something eternal with no beginning, but that thing is natural. We have evidence for nature. I don't have any evidence for supernature, so I'm going to go with what's more likely, and that's the thing I actually have evidence for.
Now, with 8 billion, so let me approach this with a different angle, because you have valid points. With 8 billion plus human beings on the planet, each autonomously functioning as in societies and larger organizations, would it be a stretch to say that there is an ultimate intelligent entity that oversees everything?
Yes, because it's not been yet demonstrated. I have no evidence of a
what
superintelligence.
What about miracles, supernatural, or natural disasters, things like this?
Natural disasters are natural. They require no creator. Miracles, I have no evidence for miracles. I've never seen an honest to God miracle.
Isn't it a mirror? Isn't your very existence and this very conversation, this very TikTok live, a miracle in a certain sense?
If only for by miracle, you're just meaning something that is had a very low chance of happening, but the fact that it did happen is like really great and cool. But if by miraculous we mean supernatural power that like obstructs or like interferes with the laws of nature, like for example a dead body coming back to life after brain dead, or like an ocean splitting, for example, would be miraculous. Leprosy magically going away instantly, that would be miraculous, and we have no evidence for these things.
No, listen, I hear what you're saying. Look, obviously, like I said in the beginning, I don't believe that I'm going to change your mind necessarily, but I just wanted to offer you perhaps that, because for example, we have 8 billion people walking around, and it's amazing, right? If you look at the human body, if you look at the brain and the central nervous system.
Amazing, but we know how it came to be through evolution.
So I would push back and say that would be premature and perhaps believing in science more than the actual supernatural science, because how on earth am I supposed to say there's
science
4.5 billion years ago what happened?
No, this is a category error. Science is not something you believe in. Science is something you do. It's a methodology. It's a way of like making observations. It's not like science isn't a body of knowledge. It's a way of coming to a body of knowledge. And we have proven evolution is a fact. It's not up for debate anymore.
Certain parts of evolution, not every single fact of evolution is necessarily 100% accurate, right? We would agree that there's room for error in science.
Very small. We've figured it out pretty well at this point.
Now, but isn't it perhaps...
You would have a place to stand if this was the late 1800s, but we've come a long way since Darwin, and we know a lot more about evolution than he ever did. He didn't even know that genes existed. So we have a very good evidence for evolution.
So, the human brain, dreams, central nervous systems, 8.8 billion people on the planet having families, reproducing, creating children,
Mm-hmm.
and the very soul and intelligence of man was all
Oh,
just
there's no soul. There's no soul. Nothing. I'm not aware of any evidence for a soul.
right. The soul had to come up, of course, right? I mean, we're debating God. Of course, the soul had to come up, right?
Yeah, but I don't. It's like the soul is the most dead concept in all of philosophy. Ironically enough, like there's nothing that the soul does that hasn't already been explained through like neurology.
We can explain it with neurology, but can't you admit that it's amazing beyond reasonable doubt, that it's incredible to the point where it suggests there's something bigger going on?
No, there's just brains, and brains are firing, and it's an amazing machine, no doubt, but it's completely natural.
So an amazing machine. I've never seen an amazing machine that is self-created.
I have.
Tell me more about this.
Yeah, it's called the human body. Humans get together and have sex, and then there's a natural process where like another human is formed in the womb, and the same is true with all mammals. So this would be like machines that are like self-reproducing.
Haven't you ever noticed how a baby has to have a human father that pre-existed in order to carry down the DNA, right? Humans don't just pop out of the void, right?
Sure, humans didn't pop out of the void. Homo sapiens evolved from Homo erectus, and Homo erectus came from Homo habilis, and so on and so forth, down to our first common ancestor.
So, but where did the first common ancestor come from? Because like we just proved, right, every child has a father.
Through a process called abiogenesis.
I'm saying every child has a father. This we observe today, right? This is clear, provable.
Yes, human children have fathers because the only way to make kids is by procreation.
Exactly.
But like the earliest organisms didn't have fathers, because father first and foremost is a social role. First and foremost,
but you know what I mean. I mean, well, that's a whole separate. I'm saying biological parenting entity, right? The male and female combined DNA, and then you have the reproduction.
The earliest organisms didn't have male and female.
According to what evidence?
But we have evidence of there are creatures today that don't have male and female. So surely they existed in the beginning.
But what about human beings? We know Homo sapiens are never asexual. They always have to reproduce with two.
Sure, Homo sapiens, but like Homo sapiens haven't always existed.
And Homo sapiens right now are the dominant species on the planet. Is that correct? Fair to say?
I guess, I don't know. It depends on your metric.
Now, but that's not my point. The point I'm trying to say is that if every child needs some kind of...
Rabbi.
Yeah.
This is all just one big argument from personal incredulity. You don't understand how evolution works and how abiogenesis works, and you think that therefore you were justified to believe in God, but that's not good. That's not good reason to believe in God.
Let's talk about biogenesis. So the first Adam had to have been created, or created on its own accord?
Abiogenesis doesn't have anything to do with atoms.
Well, let's talk about related fields to biogenesis, which would include the creation of atoms.
Abiogenesis, and it's not related. One's biology and the other one's physics.
I'm aware. So, but my question is, the first Adam, right? It would have to have been created. There is no first Adam. Right?
There's no first Adam.
The first quark would have had to have been created.
I don't have any reason to think there was a first. How do you know that there's like a bunch of them didn't like become formed all at once?
How do we know that God didn't just create them? It's the same plausibility.
Because we haven't demonstrated that a God exists yet.
I'm saying random chance versus intelligent creator are equally plausible without evidence.
No, they're not. Like,
why?
Rabbi, the supernatural is not even on the table for consideration until you prove it exists. Until then, it's not even welcome to.
We proved that nature. We already proved nature exists.
We proved that nature exists. So if there's a party where all the possible like explanations for the origin of life get invited to, God doesn't get invited to the party because it's not even for consideration until we know that it exists.
But to say that nature popped up on its own accord is equally deniable.
Nope. Because
just like God.
Nope. Not even close.
You're going to prove to me that nature popped up on its own accord?
It's the default
on video?
It's the default position, Rabbi. I know
the default position is to say the default position is a bad argument.
Rabbi, no, it's not a bad argument. You just don't like the answer. You just don't like the answer.
No, because let me challenge the logic of defaulting to the default position. According to who?
Okay, but I can only entertain this for so much longer because we're going in circles, and you don't seem to be.
I understand. I understand, and I appreciate this.
And you don't seem to be able to grasp.
No, I understand, and it's okay. It's okay. No, I appreciate the conversation. I'll just wrap up with a possibility. Maybe
I don't think you do
maybe
understand.
That it's
Rabbi,
equally deniable to say either or.
Rabbi, I want you to
random
explain
chance or God.
Rabbi, I want you to explain to me why it is I say that my position is the default position. I want to know that you actually understand.
I want to push back on the default position because let's say some guy puts on a lab coat. Let's say Charles Darwin puts on a lab coat. Why should I accept his default position?
Rabbi, no. I need to know that I've already told you several times in this conversation why it's the default position. I need to know that you were actually listening. So I want you to...
I was listening, but I'm pushing back on the concept of default position. Why would it be a default?
No, I want you to give my argument for me. I want to know that you actually were listening.
Your argument is meaning we prove that nature exists because it's observable. But if you can't observe God, then the burden of proof is on me to prove that he exists.
Okay. And why is that making the default?
I'm saying instead of proving that God exists, I'm just challenging the authenticity of evolution and saying that perhaps Charles Darwin is misled, perhaps that we're overly confident and the evidence is not strong enough to really prove one way or the other.
Rabbi, you don't know the first thing about the evidence for evolution. Why would you ever say that?
Say that again?
You don't know the first thing about evolution. Why would you ever make that claim?
That's quite an assumption, isn't it?
No, it's not an assumption. It's been demonstrated throughout this conversation.
My personal knowledge of evolution, meaning the
which is insufficient.
Evolution's main theory is that the first cell, random chance, and the first cell existed on its own accord. Is that correct?
No, that's abiogenesis. That's not evolution. Those are two different fields. And also, it didn't start off with just a cell.
So how did it start off in this model?
Something even more simple, just basic proteins.
Where did those come from? So you understand my argument's always going to be
Rabbi, because things can't pop into existence, the only plausible...
It must have been created then.
No. Formed, not created. You don't get to smuggle.
Formed by somebody and something.
Nope, something through a natural process.
Self-propagate. So you're saying self-propagate. You're arguing self-creation.
Rabbi, you're demonstrating my point. You don't know the first thing about you don't know the first thing about the topic that we're discussing.
Then you can enlighten me, though. It's okay.
So this has all been
fine. I don't have to know everything.
This has been one long argument from personal incredulity, but we are going to move on because it's been 30 minutes and we really haven't moved forward.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your time.
All right. You have a good day. To anyone who makes the claim that I don't push back against not other people who aren't Christian, like other religious groups, I do. All right. Next, we're going to ring up John. John, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation at hand. Fantastic. Mods, you have more than enough permission to, if you see them, block them. That's it. All right, well, we got Hammy. Hammy, welcome back. Were you a friendly, Hammy?
I am a friendly.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, I came up here, I requested it because I was like, I wanted to come up and try to help with the science part, but it was just...
One second. To Elvis Ditz or whatever. I'm not scared of you. You're in line, and you don't get to cut the line. You're not special. You can wait. Patience is a virtue. Anyways, go on, Hemi.
That's part for the rabbi, but like, it was clear that he didn't have a grasp on the science at all. Especially whenever he sat there and started talking about how evolution was talking about like the beginning, And I was like, no, evolution just assumes life occurred. Its only goal is to explain why there's so much of it. That's the whole entire thing about evolution. That's all it wants to do. It says, hey, we have this. Why is there so much of it?
There's always a possibility that a theist could believe that God created the first life and evolution then occurred. Like evolution and abiogenesis are two completely separate propositions. And Christians don't seem to understand that. But we have good evidence for both, luckily.
Yeah. And it's just so amazing how people like I want to say it's Kent Hovind's fault, but I'm pretty sure that they were misconstruing it before Kent Hovind too. So it really, it's all mixed in together.
Yeah, he's just the latest bad apple in the bunch. But hey, Hammy, thank you for coming up, bud.
Oh yeah, not a problem, bud.
All right, next we're gonna ring up Noah and then Elvis or whatever his name is. I'm sure Elvis will be not a total crazy crash out, and they'll behave themselves. But Noah, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18?
Of course. Yes, I am.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He/him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 7 questions on the board do you think you might have a good answer for me for?
Oh gosh. Let's see here. Well, I got a good answer for number 2. Is the Bible true? But before I start answering these questions, I do want to say that I am not the most knowledgeable about this. I don't know every single thing about this, so I'm open to learning more things about this, and that I do not know every single answer in the Bible. So if there are certain questions that I will not be able to answer, I will say it, and I will not give a false answer.
All right. So did you want to talk about number 2 then?
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yep. I just want to make that clear that I will not be giving you a false answer, and every single thing I will be saying is based off of facts.
All right. So, question: is the Bible true?
Yes, the Bible is true because there are many facts proving that the Bible is true. I do got a source that I.
Are there any facts that prove the Bible is not true? Like historical, like history? Does the history ever contradict what the Bible says?
Not that I am aware of, but I can check real quick.
Yeah. Here, I want you to turn to the Gospel of Matthew for me.
Okay. All right. Let me grab. Yeah. Let me grab my Bible real quick.
Yeah.
We'll do it this way. Alrighty. So you said the Gospel of Matthew?
Yeah, chapter 2, verse 1. And the question I'm going to ask you, and you'll find the answer for yourself in Matthew, is: was Jesus born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
You said, was Jesus born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
Correct.
Sorry, I'm just looking here.
By the way, hi Cam in the comment section.
So it says, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Turn to Luke chapter 2, verse 1 through 2. Was Jesus born during the time when Quirinius was the governor of Syria?
You said born during the time of what?
When Quirinius was the governor of Syria.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the problem. Quirinius did not become the governor of Syria until 10 years after King Herod the Great was dead. And therefore, Jesus cannot historically have been born during the time of King Herod, but also during the time of Quirinius. It's a chronological and historical impossibility.
Okay. So I will say there are a lot of facts that the Bible mentions that science backs up. That on this research I did.
What shape is the Earth?
I'm sorry.
What shape is the Earth?
Round.
Like round like a plate, or round like a basketball?
Round like a basketball.
If I was to ask the Bible that question, what answer do you think I would get?
Well, Isaiah 40:22 refers to the circle of an earth, a description that aligns with our planet's spherical shape.
No. What is a circle?
A sphere.
No, circles and spheres are not the same. Like, is a square and a cube the same thing?
Okay, so maybe I should say the earth is round.
But that's but that's not what the book of Isaiah says. Isaiah 40 verse 22 says he sits above Hug, the circle of the earth, which would be inaccurate because the earth is not a circle.
But would it align with our spherical shape, a planet's spherical shape, you look at one? If you were to look at a basketball and you were to hold the basketball right in front of your face,
it would look
would
spherical.
you see a sphere? Would you see a sphere, or would you see a circle?
I would see a sphere. I have depth perception. I would see the shadows, the lighting on it. I would see that the lines on the basketball are curving around the basketball. It would be very obvious looking forward at the basketball that it is a sphere and not a circle.
Okay, so if you didn't see the lines, if there was no lines,
but there are lines,
the basketball
and the earth.
Okay, so let's just say
and when it comes to the earth, if you stand far enough away from the earth, like let's say you're in the ISS, or like recently the Artemis 2 mission, when you see pictures of the earth that they took, you can tell it's not a circle and that it's a sphere.
Yeah, and I'm not lying to you. It definitely is a sphere. And Isaiah 40:22 definitely does refer to a circle.
And did they have a word for sphere in Hebrew?
Let me look that up here. I'm just trying to give you a accurate answer here without lying to you. I don't want to give you any inaccurate answers. Okay.
I'll help you out. Go to Isaiah 22:18.
Okay. Isaiah 22:18.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What does it say?
It basically describes
Just read it.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I can read it if you want me to.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Whirl you round and throw you like a ball into a wide land. There you shall die, and there your splendid chariot shall lie. Oh, you disgrace to your master's house. So the word ball is used here. In Hebrew, it's the word door, spelled dalet vav resh, which is different than the word for circle, which is hug, chet vav gimel. So the Hebrews have a word for circle, and they have a word for sphere, and yet they chose the word for circle when describing the earth in Isaiah 40 verse 22. So that is scientifically inaccurate. When you leave the screen, Noah, we will not be able to hear you.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I accidentally left the screen. I lost my source too here. Let me get that back. Alrighty. So the Bible also mentions how the earth floats in space, which is also scientifically proven.
No, it says that he hangs the earth on nothing, but the earth doesn't hang. It's actually falling right now. It's in free fall orbit around the sun.
But it's hanging on by a gravitational pull.
The Bible,
gravitational pull doesn't.
The Bible doesn't say that. He hangs the earth on nothing. Are you familiar with the story of Joshua and the miracle of the sun in the book of Joshua?
I am not.
So Joshua needs to win the battle, and so God does a little miracle for him. He stops the sun in the sky. Do you know what the problem with that is? That assumes that the sun is circling the earth and not that the earth is circling the sun. It assumes geocentrism because the ancient Israelites thought that the earth was flat, that the sky was made out of a solid dome, and that the moon and the sun circled above their heads. That's what they thought was how the world worked. So the book makes sense in that light. Doesn't make sense in light of what we now know about the universe.
Yeah, so you don't think when they said that the earth hangs on nothing, you don't think that they meant it in that way of the gravitational pull?
No, because they also make claims like, also Eric in the comment section, I'm just going to point this out, says NASA equals Nasha in Hebrew means to deceive. No, NASA is an acronym. Nasha and NASA are two different words altogether. One has an S sound, one has an SH sound, one has a long A, one has a short A. This is a stupid conspiracy theorist from a brain dead individual. Anyways, what was I saying? The Bible also says that the earth sits on pillars. That's not true. It says that the earth looks like a clay seal. You know what a seal is?
Yeah.
Is the earth shaped like a clay seal?
No.
It says that the sky is as hard and as solid as a cast mirror. Is that true?
Not necessarily, no.
Have you read the creation story from Genesis?
Many of times.
Do you remember what God made on the second day? What he created to separate the waters from the waters?
Sky.
Sky. He calls it sky, but what word does he use to describe it before he calls it Shemayim, sky?
Let me look.
He calls it the Rakia,
Really?
which means dome. In the old translations, like the King James Version Bible, it calls it the firmament. Why is it called firmament? Because it's firm. And the word rakia comes from a root word raka, which means to hammer something out. Like, for example, later on in the Pentateuch, it describes the people of Israel building mirrors and hammering them out from metal. And that's the same root word that's behind the word rakia, which is used to describe the dome that sits above the flat earth in the book of Genesis. The Bible is not scientifically accurate.
Okay, so what do you think? How do you think the Earth was made then?
Gravity. 4.5 billion years ago, the sun underwent a previous star underwent nuclear fusion. The lighter elements fused together into heavier elements. We see stars doing this right now in our telescopes. And when those stars die and explode, those heavier elements spew out. And gravity works on those heavier elements and they form large chunks. And because the way gravity works in all directions, it forms spherical objects, and that's how planets are formed.
Okay. So you basically, do you believe, so what I got from that is you basically believe that a star combusted and created multiple different molecules to create an Earth, basically.
That's how all planets are formed. All
Okay,
planets,
so
all moons.
what do you who do you think created the atmosphere then? Because
Not a who. What a lot of scientists think is that asteroids pelted the Earth, and these asteroids carried water molecules, and when they evaporated, that's what helped form the atmosphere.
so where do you think all these living animals and insects?
Abiogenesis was the beginning, and then evolution takes over after that. But it wasn't magic.
So you think that the atmosphere was always around. It never was.
No, it formed early on in Earth's history.
So how did that form?
I just told you.
Okay, I thought you were talking about how Earth formed again.
No, I described how the atmosphere formed from after the pelting that the Earth received from comets that had water, so like water on the asteroids.
Okay, so like
Noah.
everything has to come from somewhere. Everything has to be created from somewhere.
Does God come from somewhere?
No.
And I would say the universe doesn't come from somewhere. It's always existed.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to look more into it. Like I said, I don't got the answers for everything. There's a lot of things that I don't know, that you might be more knowledgeable about. So I might have to just continue to do more research into it more. And then maybe I'll join another one of your debates and get back up here when I know a little more stuff.
Here, I'll give you some homework. Get a book called Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay.
It's an easy starter book. It's what I started with.
Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty, we'll do.
Have a good day, Noah.
Yep, you have a blessed one.
Okay. Now we'll get to Elvis, and we don't have any super chats yet, so I guess we'll just get to Elvis, and hopefully they'll behave themselves. Elvis, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. I'm quite tired of talking about topic number 6 and 7, so which one of the 5 first topics would you like to discuss with me?
I would like to go into my topic of proving to you that God is real.
You know what? Fuck it, I'll entertain it. Sure. Give me some good reason to think that your God exists.
So my question is why do you not believe there was a creator of heaven and earth?
Because I've never been given a good argument for creator of heaven and earth. I hold the default position.
So basically, if you look at historians say that Jesus was a real person,
Sure.
Christian or
he was just he was just a Jewish guy who took a huge L from the Romans.
Oh, okay. So if we're gonna get on to the Romans, basically, if we really look at the Romans, if the Roman and Jewish records from that time he existed and died, why would his followers who were Jewish and strictly worshiped only one God suddenly start worshiping a human man godless under something undeniably happened?
Gee whiz. Well, first and foremost, worshiping human beings is not prohibited under Judaism. You're allowed to worship kings, right?
Yes, but the Jewish, they represented and worshipped a king, not a king, but he didn't even call himself a king. He was a human, and they represented him.
Did his followers think he was the Messiah?
Yes, but
Is the Messiah a king?
yes.
Can you worship kings?
Yes.
Then Jewish people worshiping Jesus as a king is not anything all that miraculous.
He didn't call himself a king, though.
They thought he was a Messiah. Doesn't matter if he called himself a king or not. Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson from the 1990s never claimed to be the Messiah, but other people claimed he was the Messiah. And in fact, there are Jewish sects today who wear yarmulkes with the title Melech Mashiach, King Messiah, on it, in reference to the Rebbe, even though he never made that claim for himself. So it doesn't matter whether or not Jesus ever claimed to be a king or not. But as long as his followers thought he was the Messiah, they would have believed he was a king, and therefore they would have worshipped him.
And do you believe the Big Bang started the Earth?
The Earth? The Big Bang was...
universe.
It didn't start the universe. It's just like one stage in the universe that we know about.
Well, how do you believe that the Earth was made?
Through gravity.
Through gravity?
4.5 billion years ago, long after the Big Bang.
Well, everything exist has a cause, right? And this dude was getting into it last time.
And I think there's just an infinite series of causes that go back forever.
Well, since if the universe is made up of time, space, and matter, that cause must be outside of time, space, and matter. Eternal, omnipresent, and eternal. That sounds exactly like a god.
No, I know that's just what your script tells you to say, but no, we have no reason to think that all the causes behind everything, as far as I can tell, exists within space-time.
Well, if we're going to get on to the point of gravity, if the force of gravity or the expansion rate of the universe would be different by the fraction hair's width, stars wouldn't form, and neither would life.
You're really just reading all the points off your script, huh? Yeah, but it's not different. The one that we have is the one we have. And have you ever heard of Douglas Adams' puddle analogy?
From 1994.
I don't know when it was written.
Or around
the puddle analogy goes like this.
A little bit.
There is this pothole and it rains and a puddle fills up, and the puddle one day wakes up and says to itself, look at this hole that I'm in. It fits me so perfectly. It must have been created for me. In reality, though, it's just that the hole was there first and then the puddle formed in the hole. In the same way, you might think that the universe is so perfectly fine-tuned for us, but in reality, like, the universe existed here first, and then like human beings came about and we just adapted and evolved to survive on this planet.
My question is, how do humans just come about? Like, where did they come from? They had to come from somewhere.
Homo sapiens came from Homo erectus. And just to cut you off, I know what you're about to say. It goes all the way back to the first universal common ancestor, and then abiogenesis is the origin for that. But let's say I don't have any explanation for those things. It wouldn't make a god real. The only honest thing to say at that point would be, I don't know. And not to just jump to, therefore God.
Well, if we're talking DNA-wise, and if an atheist believes in the random result of random accidents, however, DNA isn't just a matter of complex digital code. You said it was a bunch.
It's not digital. It's DNA is just four
complex digital code.
It's just 4 different acids that, like form a strand together. And different animals have different combinations of those acids.
But DNA is a complex matter digital code.
It's not digital.
You look it up.
The only way it can be? How can something be digital if it doesn't exist on a computer?
DNA.
What is the word? What do you think the word digital means?
Digital is online. Digital is like on a screen.
So before screens and before the internet, DNA existed. Wasn't digital.
No.
Yes. Something can't be digital if there's no screens and no internet. It's not a digital code. It's just a pattern of acids.
For your argument there, like a computer software written science, and we all know it came from intelligence.
Except for human beings are not software. We didn't come from intelligence.
Like if we see code, like computer software or written message.
If I see a written message, which I know that writing comes from human beings, and if I see computer code and computer code comes from human beings, then yes, I would think that that's design because I know where writing and where software comes from. But the reason I don't think that counts with DNA is because DNA isn't code. DNA is naturally occurring.
So then why do we assume the 3 billion letter code in our DNA happened by chance?
We don't assume. We have evidence for that. Evolution has been well beyond demonstrated. But again, are you able to make a positive case for your God's existence, or is your whole argument for God just, I don't understand how evolution and abiogenesis works, therefore God must be true?
Well, how is your reasoning? Because our DNA is code.
He can't help himself.
Our DNA is code.
It's not. It's just a pattern of acids.
We'll look it up then.
Yeah, well, I already know. What do you think? Okay, DNA is made up of 4 acids, right? Thymine, guanine, cytosine, and adenine. It's just 4 different acids that are paired together and bonded together, and this happened through billions of years of evolution.
So yes, but almost on another point of my reason of proving to you that God's real. So we're gonna.
Even if I didn't know where DNA come from, it wouldn't prove that God exists. You don't God isn't the automatic default position.
Now, my question: do you believe Jesus was real?
Yes, he was real. He was just a Jewish guy. He didn't fulfill any prophecies, therefore he wasn't the Messiah. He was just a Jewish guy who got killed by the Romans, and then his delusional followers believed he was resurrected after his death.
My question is, so basically in the 1st century, the most powerful empire, Rome, the religious establishment, why did they try to crush Christianity?
For the longest time they didn't, not until Nero. Romans didn't care about Christianity until Nero needed someone to blame the fires of Rome on. And then after after a couple of years, it wasn't that heavily persecuted anymore until the reign of Domitian in the late 1st century, early 2nd century. And then after a little bit of time for that persecution, it died off. There wasn't like this one long persecution of Christians for the first few hundred years of Christianity. It's a myth.
Well, if you look at the fulfilled prophecy, there
are no fulfilled prophecies.
Because if you look at the argument, the odds of one man accidentally
point to me one prophecy. Point to me even one prophecy that Jesus fulfilled from the Old Testament. This is my favorite topic.
The Old Testament. The Old Testament was before his life.
That's the whole point of prophecies. You don't even know the claim you're making is. The claim that Christians make is that Jesus is the Messiah because he fulfills all of the prophecies about the Messiah in the Old Testament, and that it's so unlikely for anyone to have fulfilled even a number of these different prophecies. But Jesus didn't fulfill any of them. Not a single prophecy did he fulfill from the Old Testament.
What about for, I just looked at my Bible, for the dogs encompass me, a company of voyageurs encircle me. They have pierced my hands and feet.
Oh, it actually doesn't say pierced in the original Hebrew. Psalm 22 isn't a prophecy. The Psalms are not prophecies. They are just poetry that were written by a psalmist for or about King David. In this case, a psalm that was meant for King David to sing. King David's the one who's saying, my God, why have you forsaken me? And in verse 16, while your translation says something to the effect of, they pierced my hands and my feet, the original Hebrew is, Ka'ari yadai ve'reglai. They were like a lion at my hands and my feet. This is just David describing his enemies as like tearing him apart from all corners.
Well, if you look at the very next verse, since we're on the verse of Psalms, if you look at Psalms chapter 22, verse 18, it says, they divide my garments among them and my clothing, for they cast lots. The gospel will record the Roman soldiers did not exactly.
Yeah, here's your biggest problem, bud. I don't believe the gospels are historically accurate. In fact, I have good reason to believe. Like, for example, do you think that the gospel authors knew about Psalm 22 when they wrote their gospels?
No, because they've looked at the previous Bible.
They quote it. They quote it explicitly. You saying they're not aware of it, even though they quote it explicitly?
No, they do, but they just never. The people like King James, he did not live through that.
King James didn't write the Bible.
The King James version.
The Bible existed for 1,600 years before King James was even in his father's nutsack. Here's the thing, bud. I don't think you're ready to have this conversation. I think you need to
Well, if you look at the all four Gospels, record that Jesus was
Elvis,
executed by Roman
Elvis,
crucifixion with nails driven through his hands and legs.
Elvis, I know what the Gospels say. You're not ready to have this conversation. You need to do a few more years of studying before you're ready to have this conversation. But I think I'm just going to move on because at this point,
One more question.
At this point, I'm just punching down. I'll answer one more question and then I'm dropping you.
Okay. With multiple years of with more years of my learning and everything, do you think I would be a better debater? Because I'm a Christian, but
I think if you take seriously the reading of the Bible and actually study it seriously, you'll end up like me, an atheist.
I will never be an atheist. I always believe in God.
I used to say that too. I've already answered a question for you. And I used to say that I wouldn't be an atheist too, bud. And yet here I am. But, you have a wonderful day. All right. That was something for sure. All right. We'll move on to James Mullins. James, I'm going to ask you the same 3 preliminary questions I ask every one of my guests, and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I'm 56.
And what pronouns do you go by?
I'm a male. I go by him.
By he, him. All right. And then are you a Christian?
Yes.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to give me an answer for?
I just wanted to address one point you made, and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
I'm not here to debate with you. I'm not here to convert you. I have no interest in that. You said one thing to one gentleman earlier, and I just want to point out your fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
You said that atoms pertain to physics and not biology.
Yeah, when we're talking about the formation of atoms, that's in regards to physics. Now, of course, in biology is nothing more than just applied chemistry, and chemicals are made out of atoms. But in that context, in that conversation, what the point of that was is that when we talk about the formation of atoms, that's physics, and not biology.
Okay, so the atom is the smallest form of matter.
No. They're smaller.
Are you going to say protons? Are you going to say photons?
Yeah, subatomic particles are smaller than particles.
Are not photons produced by atoms?
No.
All right, go Google it. You're a fucking idiot. Fuck you.
What a fucking crash out. Oh my God, what a baby. All right. You're a fucking idiot, he said. Holy crash out, Batman. What a baby. Can we get some baby bottles in the comment section for that fucking baby? All right. Andrea, it's your turn now. Andrea, I'm going to ask you the same 3 preliminary questions that I ask all my guests. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
She, her.
And are you a Christian?
Yes.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to discuss with me?
Number 3, did Jesus rise from the dead?
All right, why I think Jesus is dead. Why should I think he's not dead?
Can you repeat that?
I think Jesus is dead. Why should I think he's not dead?
Because he got raised from the dead.
Why should I? The question I asked was, why should I think Jesus is not dead? And your answer was essentially because he's not dead. That's a circular answer.
He rose from the dead.
Are you actually at least 18 years old? Because lying is a sin in your religion, and the Bible says that liars have no place in the world to come.
Yes.
You swear to God? I want to hear you swear. I want to hear you swear to your God You're allowed to swear, but you can't break your oaths. That's what the Bible says. So I want you to swear to your God right now that you are at least 18 years old. If you don't, if you don't swear to God, I'm gonna drop you.
I'm kind of like 17, but like.
All right, bye.
You know.
Have fun in hell. All right. We're gonna bring up Eric Hernandez. Eric, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions. Please don't lie to me like the last guest did. Are you at least 18 years old?
Oh, yes, I am.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
All right, which one of the 5 points on the board do you think you might have a good answer for me for?
Let's see.
We'll give him until the end of the song to answer. And then if he doesn't answer, we'll drop him. And he ran away. Wow, look at that. Easiest concession. All right, we're gonna move on to Faith now. Faith. Are you at least 18 years old? You need an Alex Trebek voice for those moments. I don't know who Alex Trebek is. Is that the host for the Jeopardy show? Like Faith might not be able to come up. All right, I have a joke for you guys. This is a joke that what's that boxer's name? The one with the lisp. I'm blanking all of a sudden. Help me. He's got the Mike Tyson. This is Mike Tyson. A joke that Mike Tyson would make. Knock knock. Who's there? Faith. Faith who? Will you please come on, my Faith? Sorry. Couldn't have it. Anyways, it's my second favorite joke right after knock knock. Who's there? Dwayne who? Dwayne the bathtub I'm drowning. Hi, Lathe.
I came up to just tell you shame. Shame, shame, shame. That is all.
That's all. Yeah. You know what? Valid. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm gonna talk to Jonathan now. Jonathan, are you at least 18?
Yeah.
Question number 2. What pronouns do you go by?
I don't use pronouns.
Okay, well, could you say that to me again without using pronouns?
Handsome man, you can call me that.
No. Could you say that you
Handsome
don't use
man.
pronouns without using pronouns?
You can call me handsome man.
Nope, that's an adjective. It's not a pronoun. So here, I'll respect that. I'll respect that you don't use pronouns, but every time you use a pronoun, you're gonna hear this sound. Do you hear this? Hear the buzzer?
Thanks, bro.
Did you hear it?
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
Did you hear the buzzer?
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
Did you hear the buzzer? I'll drop you if you don't answer me.
Oh, you dropped me, you fucking fat fuck.
They're such fucking snowflakes. Every one of these conservative idiots. I don't use pronouns. They say while using pronouns. Fun fact, idiot. I is a pronoun. Jesus Christ. These people are so fucking pathetic. It's so crazy. They always say that shit. I know. Rather be fat than be stupid, you know? Okay, we'll bring up Luke versus ideas then. Hopefully this person won't be an idiot. Luke, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions. You have to answer the questions in order to talk to me. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
Yeah.
And question number 3, are you a Christian?
Yeah.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible guy. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to give me an answer for?
The number 2.
Is the Bible true, Luke?
Yes, I would claim it is.
Why should I believe the Bible is true and that it comports to reality?
Well, can I ask what you are advertising as the definition of true?
Yeah, that which comports to reality. Like, for example, the statement that I am holding some Astrogate lube. That's a true statement because it is a statement which comports to reality. If I was to say I'm holding a Dr. Pepper can, that would be a not true statement because the statement does not comport with reality. So when I say is the Bible true, I mean Astroglide. Sorry, not Astrogate, Astroglide lube. The question is, does the Bible's claims comport to reality?
Okay, great. So we could go step by step throughout the Bible as a whole, but it would be it has a historical accurate document. So in order for me to, you would have to give me what you don't believe is true about it for me to be able to contend with anything, because it's
Jesus
your other ways of, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, or a way to, you would have to give me your other premises for what you use to show that something is historically accurate.
Yeah, like for example, I have actual 1st century historical works, like the works of Josephus. If I compare what Josephus says to the historical claims in the Gospels, would the Gospels measure up?
Okay, so what does Josephus say that I guess you would probably say contradicts or proves the Gospels to be false?
Well, let's talk about the nativity of Jesus. The nativity.
Hey, quick question: Can I back out and then come back in? You're like echoing and like crazy on my end.
I am here. Let me take a look. It's here. Does that fix it? Does that fix it?
That did.
All right.
That helped.
So, was Jesus born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
I don't know that answer. I'd have to look it up and study into the Bible.
Matthew chapter 2 verse 1. In the days of King Herod, Magi from the east came to him, saying, "Where is he who is meant to be born King of the Jews?"
We can go off that's true for right now if you would like to. I'll get my Bible.
All right. Was he born during the rule of Quirinius as governor of Syria?
You'll have to give me a second.
You'll have to look for Luke chapter 2 verse 1 through 2 for that.
That's fine.
I can bring it up on the screen.
Or that, you can do that, whatever you would like.
Yeah, here it'll be faster. Here, where did I put? There we are. Not that. There we go. All right. We got here. We'll start with
I'm just this guy right here. He's just talking smack, and I'm like, I literally am just now starting to really dive into the Bible, and so
that's fine. Just ignore them.
I feel like that's a fair thing. Okay.
So Matthew chapter 2. This is fine because I love teaching people the Bible. Matthew chapter 2 says, in the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem, asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star in the east and have come to pay him homage." So does the Gospel of Matthew make the claim that Jesus was born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
Yeah, it seems so, yeah.
All right. Do you know when Herod ruled as king of Israel?
4 BC.
That's when he died. Yeah, he died. He ruled from 40 to 4 BCE. That's when he died. So that would mean Jesus would have been born sometime between 6 to 4 BCE because he asked for all the children who were 2 years old and under. to be massacred in Bethlehem. So that gives us a rough estimate according to Matthew when Jesus was born, 6 to 4 BCE. Now, when we go to the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2, we also read about the nativity of Jesus. It says, in those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration and was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went to their own towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David, called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged, who was expecting a child. So this places Jesus' birth at a time when Quirinius was the governor of Syria, correct?
Let me read through it just 1 second. What was the 2? Was it 2? 2?
Yeah, 2 verses 1 through 2.
Okay. Thinking about it.
That is correct, Clever, but we'll get to that in a second.
It would seem that way, but I'm curious if it would say before or not.
No, I mean, there's a reason why every translation puts first.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just curious. So that's just me looking at it and being
But
curious.
also it doesn't make sense for it to be before, because
would it not? I don't know.
Because
it seems like it would.
Because
matter.
the events are taking place during the census. Because why do Joseph and Mary go to Bethlehem? Luke?
Sorry, what?
Why does Mary and Joseph go to Bethlehem?
Looks like it says to be taxed with Mary. What's that?
Yep. Yeah. They go to Bethlehem because of the census of Quirinius. So it can't take place before the census because it's happening. Yeah, it's happening because of the census.
It also mentions a census under Caesar too.
No. Well, Caesar ruled while Quirinius was governor. Caesar is the emperor, and Quirinius was one of the senators.
Governing Syria. I see.
Yeah, he was one of the senators who was placed over Syria to govern it. And the reason, and do you know why Quirinius became the governor of Syria and why he did a taxation?
I don't actually know that. No,
this is a little cool bit of history. We can read about this in the works of Josephus and his work, The Judean Antiquities, books 17 and 18. He tells us that when King Herod the Great died, his kingdom was divided amongst his 3 sons. In fact, the Gospel of Matthew mentions one of those sons, Archelaus. Archelaus received the region of Judea, where his father reigned. And as it turns out, according to Josephus, Archelaus was so bad at his job, even by Roman standards, that they ended up firing him. They deposed him of his position and they exiled him to Vienna. And after that, they didn't establish a new king. Instead, they annexed the region of Judea to Rome. And then they established over Judea a procurator, Coponius. Like you're probably familiar with the procurator by the name of Pontius Pilate. The first procurator of Judea was Coponius before Pontius Pilate. And then Quirinius was placed as the governor of Syria to overlook the taxation of the people of Judea. Because it's a new region of Rome, it needs to be taxed. So the only reason Quirinius is even made governor of Syria, and the only reason he even does his first census over the people, is because Herod is dead. Without Herod dying, Quirinius doesn't become governor. The census doesn't take place. So it's quite literally a historical impossibility for Jesus to be both born during the reign of King Herod the Great, but also born during the census of Quirinius.
Can I make without knowing all the history stuff like you do, which I think is actually crazy cool. I wish I knew more about it. And I'm trying, but I would also say, just outside listening to what you say and having my belief in God, I would also say that there could be a possibility that Luke is not necessarily giving a line of chronological events. Could it not also be something that he is trying to almost like situate the story to something that's recognizable in history.
He's making, I believe that Luke is making stuff up. He needs to, Luke, like the gospel author of Matthew, he believes that Jesus needs to be born in Bethlehem, but Jesus is historically a Nazarene. So the question is, how do you get Jesus to be born in Bethlehem? You have to come up with some sort of backstory that would place him in Bethlehem. Matthew does the easier thing. He just makes the claim that Jesus' family was originally from Bethlehem. They weren't from Nazareth. They have a house in Bethlehem. They live there. The only reason they even go to Nazareth in the first place is because they relocate because of Archelaus. Luke, however, has Jesus being originally from Nazareth, and they only go to Bethlehem because of a census, which also, this is another problem, is that the census under Quirinius didn't apply to the people of Galilee. It only applied to the people of Judea. And also, having people leave their homes for a census to go to their ancestral home doesn't make any sense. Mostly because, well, I don't have just one ancestor. I have two parents, and those two parents also each have two parents, and so it's 4 and then 8 and then 16, and we have a lot of different ancestors who come from different regions. It would be weird to pick one particular ancestor from 1,000 years prior to Jesus. But like a census, you would stay where you would be. The reason for the census is because you want to know where people live, and they were from Nazareth, so they would have to stay in Nazareth for the census. Wouldn't make any sense. And again, the census historically was only for the people of Judea, not for it wasn't a worldwide census as Luke claims it was. So Luke's census is like taking a historical event, being the census of Judea under Quirinius, and fictionalizes it so that he has a reason to get Jesus to Bethlehem.
Okay, so I just have my only two contentions that I don't really know can be proven or disproven. Is that is there any chance that there could have been not well documented censuses that happened under Augustus? And two, I still don't see really the problem with him giving a historical event that happened to give a semi time frame of when that would have happened, right?
Here's the problem. If Matthew is true, Jesus' family isn't going to Bethlehem for a census because there is no census.
Well, how do you know? Hold on. That assumes that there was no census.
No census under Quirinius. No census under Quirinius. No census under Quirinius. Yeah, no. We have no data supporting that.
Correct, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't any, right?
No, but we know
just because there's no data.
No, but we know. No, but we know when the census took place. It took place.
But you don't know what you don't know, right?
But I do know what I do know, and we know when the census under Quirinius took place.
Well, that doesn't.
It's well documented.
What I'm saying, though, I'm saying that there
was. Well, Quirinius' census did not take place until a decade after Herod was already dead. That's a fact.
So there's no census that could have happened before, right?
None under Quirinius.
Okay. And so and you don't think that it's even logical for Luke to be writing in there some context to when this might have happened, just to give a time frame?
Yeah, it contradicts Matthew, and it's also factually inaccurate as well. It's just fictional. That's all it is. And if Jesus was born during the census of Quirinius, then Herod's not alive to go and kill the babies in Bethlehem.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to do some more digging on it because obviously I want to, I'll take what you're saying as what it is. But even then, to me, let's just say that this one thing is somehow a little inaccurate on exactly there's centuries there. So, maybe there's not an exact date, but that doesn't necessarily disprove anything. It just means that somebody has something here and somebody has something there, but it's close.
It's not close. The only similarity between the two nativity narratives is that Jesus is born in Bethlehem. Every other fact around it is completely different. Only one of them can be true.
Great. And I'm even saying, let's just go off that one of them is true, but it still doesn't say that he wasn't born. So he
Sure,
still was born.
of
You
course.
don't. You're not contending with the
Jesus
with
was
the
Jesus
accuracy that he was born.
Jesus was a human, and the only way humans come into being is by being born.
Okay, so but even if you find that
he wasn't born of a virgin, though, and the Hebrew Bible also never prophesied that the Messiah would be born of a virgin.
I mean, I think Mary kind of lays that out pretty obviously when she says that she hasn't done the thing to get pregnant.
I don't think Mary. That's not a true story. It's fiction. I don't trust the Gospels. I don't think the Gospels are true histories, and I have good reason to think they're not true histories. The nativity.
You can't argue with the statement that at least in this book, Mary does claim to be a virgin per herself.
That is the claim that the book makes, but the book is fiction.
But you've only said, okay, so that's saying if I go into a history book in my school and I'm able to find that there is even one slight thing that's off, that I now can say that all history books
but it's not one slight thing. This is
one. You won't get one.
But it's not slight. It's a big thing, and also
I don't think that's very big. I don't think that's very big at all.
The Gospels also Jesus' virgin birth is wrapped up in the nativity stories. If the nativity stories are fiction, then so is the virgin birth.
You haven't proved that everything in the gospel is false. You've just somehow I don't know all of history.
Just the nativity narratives, which includes the virgin birth narrative.
One narrative. You've only said that this one person may have, and in my opinion, he could have just been giving just a recognizable time frame of when something was going on, so that when we look back at it, we could be like, oh, it happened around this time.
No, Luke makes the claim that happened when Quirinius was the governor of Syria, and he makes that claim because Jesus has to get to.
That's sort of the continual I'm saying.
Jesus needs to go to. Does Jesus need to be born in Bethlehem?
I personally don't think that really matters.
It does matter, and here's why. Jesus needs to be born in Bethlehem. The author of Luke needs to get him into Bethlehem when Jesus is from Nazareth, and the whole like mechanism that he uses to get Jesus to Bethlehem is the census. If Jesus wasn't born during the census, then the very mechanism that Luke employs to get him to Bethlehem is non-existent.
I still don't think that contends against what I'm saying, though. I'm saying if you look back on the history, like any history, and somebody says that something took place at this time,
if I had
and you realize,
if I opened up two ancient history books, if I opened up two ancient history books, and they made claims about one that contained magical elements, and that they were completely different except for one small factor, like where someone was born, I would contend that this too was also fiction.
Yeah, that's still, dude. You're not letting me get out my argument. You're just responding to something I'm not really saying. I'm saying if something is given in context of a time period, so that when we future people that are 2,000 years later can look back at something that was probably at least documented for quite a bit, we can be like, oh, great, this took place at some point around this time, and here is some proof that this happened.
But that's not what Luke says.
That literally could be, though.
No,
and you're saying that it's not what Luke
it's
says.
Absolutely not.
That's what I do get.
No, you're just inhaling so much copium, my dude. Like, Luke's whole purpose for mentioning the census is to get Jesus to Bethlehem. Jesus isn't going to Bethlehem if the census doesn't occur. This is not
my problem.
Jesus was born around some time around Quirinius. This is Jesus was born when Quirinius was the governor of Syria during the census, and that's why he's born in Bethlehem.
Yeah, I mean, you can take it that way, but I'll just even grant it. That's fine. I'll even grant it. I'll grant that that's the case, and Luke is getting something wrong. Okay, does he still does it still go against that they both agree that this thing did happen?
That Jesus was born? Oh,
Yes.
We already all agree Jesus was born. All people are born.
So then you've not found anything that's actually wrong with the story.
Yes,
You've
I
only
did.
found that there is one line in here that says that might differ from somebody else's.
I don't even think I don't have any good reason to think Jesus was even born in Bethlehem. It looks like to me is like these authors are just making shit up about Jesus in order to get him to Bethlehem. I have no good reason to think Jesus was born in Bethlehem.
That's again, man. You still haven't disproven the Bible as a whole.
That's a ridiculous thing to say.
Well, that's what your Luke. If you go take that off the screen, Luke, that is literally what it says. Luke, is the Bible true? Well, the Bible's made up of multiple books.
Luke.
So
the New Testament, the central claim of the New Testament is Jesus as the Messiah, correct?
Yes. I mean that's kind. Yeah. I mean it speaks a lot more, but yeah.
He didn't fulfill a single prophecy, therefore the central claim of the New Testament is false.
What do you mean he didn't?
The Old Testament contains prophecies about Messiah. Jesus didn't fulfill a single one. Therefore, no good reason to think he's the Messiah.
I don't think that's true, but I will look it up. Yeah.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite topic.
This is good for me. I mean, I enjoy this, so I don't want you to think that I'm not listening. I just have a belief and trying to understand more of it. So this helps me. All right. So it says it does give me a breakdown of some things that did come true.
All right. Just start with one.
You're probably going to be able to just give me a history lesson on all these, which is good for me. So. Descendant of David.
Was Jesus? I have no evidence that Jesus was a descendant of David, especially since both genealogies contradict each other and actually don't end with Jesus being descended from David because he wasn't Joseph's kid, allegedly.
What do you mean he was allegedly?
I think in real life Jesus was Joseph's kid because there's no virgin birth, but in the Gospels narrative, he's not Joseph's kid, so the entire genealogy is completely useless, and the genealogies contradict each other.
Yeah, you mean that one line is through, David's son Solomon, and the other one's through the David's son Nathan.
Yeah, and then they end with Joseph having two different dads. And then also the Matthew genealogy is Solomon through Jeconiah, and Jeconiah's lineage is cursed. And then Nathan, the kingship doesn't go through Nathan, it goes through Solomon. So both genealogies are like fucked as far as like kingship is concerned.
Okay. Ministry in Galilee. It does say that he
there's no prophecy about a Messiah having a ministry in Galilee.
9:1-2.
Okay, let's go and see if it says about anything about a Messiah, son of David, who has a ministry.
Will come from Galilee.
Well, let's see. Isaiah.
And then fulfillment 4:13-16.
But there will be no gloom for those who were in anguish. In the former times, he brought into contempt the land of Zebulun. Who's he?
Do what?
Who's he? The pronoun being used here. He brought into contempt the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. But in the latter times, he will be glorious. He will make glorious the way of the sea. Let's see. Bind up the testimony, seal the teaching among my disciples. I will wait for the Lord, who is hiding his face from the house of Jacob, and I will hope in him. See, I and the children whom the Lord has given me as signs and portents in Israel, from the Lord of hosts who dwells in Mount Zion. Now, if people say to you, consult the ghosts and the familiar spirits that chirp and mutter, should not be people consult their gods, the dead, on behalf of the living, for teaching and instruction? Surely those who speak like this will have no dawn. They will pass through the land greatly distressed and hungry. When they are hungry, they will be enraged and will curse their king and their gods. They will turn their faces upward, or they will look to the earth, but they will only see distress and darkness. The gloom and anguish they will thrust into darkness. It looks like the he there is referring to God as the subject. There will be no gloom for those who are in anguish, not the Messiah, God. In the former time, he, God, brought into contempt the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. But in the latter times, he, God, will make glorious the way of the sea, the land beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the nations. But it doesn't say anything about a ministry in Galilee.
Light will come from Galilee, and then I think if you're being
God is the light.
Yeah, but who else is God?
God is God. God is not the Messiah. God is not the Messiah in the Hebrew Bible. The Hebrew Bible never once makes the claim that the Messiah is God.
Later on it does. So if you look back at it, you can also be able to understand that Jesus is God.
No, he's not.
And
show me where in the Hebrew Bible it ever says the Messiah will be God.
I didn't say in the Hebrew Bible. I'm saying if you look in the New Testament, it refers to Jesus as being God. Then therefore we can look back at it.
Where does Jesus claim to be God?
And I feel like this is pretty common stuff, but I don't know the exact.
It's commonly believed within Orthodox and classical Christianity, but that's a post-biblical philosophical innovation. None of the gospel authors ever make the claim that Jesus is ontologically identical with Yahweh.
Let me see where it would be.
Put your bets in for which verse is going to be cited. Yeah, I and the Father are one. Did you read John 17? Verse 11.
John 10. I am, which is what God.
Whoa. One at a time, bud. Let's start with that claim about God, Jesus saying, I and the Father are one. This is not claiming that Jesus and God are identical in essence, like one in essence. This is about united together. For example, we read in John 17, verse 11, Jesus gives us an explanation for what it means to be one with God. It says, and now I am no longer in the world, but they are in the world, and I am coming to you, Holy Father. Protect them in your name that you have given me, so that they may be one, even as we are one. In other words,
so as he is with his Father, yeah.
So are all Christians the same person?
You wouldn't have to be the same person. You would just have to have the same divineness after you are saved within.
Are they the same? Are all Christians the same being?
Again, you would have to make the distinction of they all contain the essence of God if they are saved by God. So they would all have the same essence.
Christians are God?
They would have the essence from God, yes.
But are they God? Would it be accurate for me to point to you as a Christian and go, this man is God?
Our essence would be, not me.
That's heretical, even according to classical Christianity.
I mean, I don't think so. No, because the essence itself would be.
So no, what it means to be one simply means to be united in like a goal and purpose.
Yeah,
to align one's will. It has
essence.
nothing to it has nothing to do with essence.
Yeah, because that is how you can define the Trinity of the Holy Ghost.
Well, no,
Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit would be all by an essence.
That's the problem. Is that you are retroactively applying Nicene metaphysics onto the Bible when it's not present. The Bible makes no reference to Jesus sharing an essence with God.
I think by him claiming that him and the Father are one, it does speak to that. Yes.
No, me and my people are also one. We're united together in one goal and purpose, but we don't share an essence. The logical.
You're just ignoring that part.
No, I'm not. I'm taking the entirety of the Gospel of John into consideration. When Jesus says that he and God are one, all he is making the claim of is that him and God are united in their goals. He unites his will to God's will.
That is a part of the interpretation. Yes, but you're also missing the spiritual part of the interpretation.
No, where does it ever say in the Gospel of John that they share an essence? Where's that language?
Yeah, well, I literally am giving it to you. You just are happily ignoring it.
I'm not. Show me, Lord, where does essence occur in the Gospel of John? Show me.
I don't know where it pops. I don't know where the word essence pops up. But if you have,
let's see.
Have a spirituality, right? Hold on. You can know scripture all day, but if you have the spirituality If you look at it from that point,
it looks like the word essence doesn't occur anywhere in the Gospel of John.
Yeah, that's fine that it doesn't. But if you can go to you can find the word spiritually, I'm sure somewhere. But if you
not in the Gospel of John,
brother, are you just gonna cut me off, or can I get a point?
Spiritually.
Great. So if you
only occurs in 1 Corinthians and the book of Ephesians. Again, you're just assuming post.
I'm really not. I'm looking at spirituality.
No, you really are, because a Jewish person reading this from the first century wouldn't come to the same conclusion that you are. You are reading your Nicene metaphysics into the New Testament. It's not there. Any regular reading of the phrase "I am one with this person" just means that I'm united to this person, not we share the same essence.
I agree that it does mean that, and I think you're being intellectually dishonest if you don't look at it from it. Dude,
no.
If you're just going to interrupt me, brother, I can't get a point.
Well, I'm not going to let you make false claims about me. I'm not being dishonest. I just don't assume a.
I hadn't yet made the claim.
You did. You made the claim that I'm being
dishonest. No, I hadn't finished the claim yet.
You. So I'm not dishonest when I do not impose both post-philosophical innovations onto the Bible.
Yeah, I finish my statement.
If you make, I'm just going to interrupt you if you say something wrong again. But go ahead, bud.
Okay, can I finish the full statement before you decide to interrupt?
I guess we'll find out.
Well, if I'm not going to be able to finish a statement, then there's really no back and forth we can have. That's you know.
Well, when you keep just assuming your Nicene metaphysics instead of demonstrating it from the Bible, I don't know what else to do, bud.
Well, I think does the Bible talk about spirituality?
Spirituality, sure, but that has nothing to do with the Trinity.
Okay, great. So hold on. No, we got to go step by step. I can at least walk you through this part, and it makes sense, at least to me. It makes sense. Maybe not to you if you don't want to believe in it. I don't. I'm going to try to make a case for it. If the Bible speaks of spirituality, and there are verses and letters that you can look at on a spiritual level, then you also have to not just read the text itself, but you have to be able to understand it on a spiritual level.
I understand the Bible better than most Christians. I don't care. I don't care. So
you haven't given me a chance.
I understand the Bible better than most Christians do, and you don't need the magic decoder ring of the Holy Spirit in order to interpret the Bible. You just need to have two eyes and a brain, and you need to have some level of understanding of first century Jewish metaphysics, which I doubt you do. And as a result, I think I can know the Bible better than you do. You just have a dogma that you've inherited from your church, and you read the Bible in light of that dogma.
Okay, great. So with that point, if you are reading something that it speaks about spirituality, I believe you would be not being truthful with wild reading if you aren't trying to understand it also from a spiritual level. This is a spiritual book. If you only look at it,
it's not a spiritual book. That's an assumption that needs to be demonstrated.
You can then you're fundamentally just disagreeing with what the Bible is.
Yeah, no, I disagree with what you think the Bible is. The Bible is the New Testament, especially the New Testament is a work of human being.
The whole Bible.
It doesn't come from a deity, and you would need to demonstrate that it comes to a deity before it's even spiritual. Otherwise, it's a completely natural work.
So you just think this book is just what?
Human made? Yes.
What would you define?
It's
how would you define the book?
I would define the book as a collection of books from the ancient Near East.
Yeah. So, well, that doesn't define the book. That defines the origins of the book. It doesn't define the book.
It's got poetry in it. It's got narrative. It's got myth.
That doesn't define the book.
Can I take a stab at this?
Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
No, you're giving an You're not giving me an.
Sure, I'll give you a more definitive.
No,
so
I'm talking to the host.
Go ahead, Rav.
Yeah, I'm okay. So I'm first.
Just ignore him.
No.
My God, it's wild.
I'm literally not.
So first, you have to understand what the word "we" means, and "we" is an idea that includes a group of people that identify with themselves. This forms something called an ethnos.
I'm literally
which is a group of people that
mute me over and over and over again.
Luke, I'm going to give you a good answer.
No, I don't care about yours. I care about the host. It's not a 2v.
There you go. Rabbi, go ahead and give your
We're all on a panel
explanation.
together. Oh my jeez.
Now he can't interrupt. Now he can't interrupt you. Go ahead and give your explanation. He's allowed to come back up after Rabbi finishes talking.
So the idea of an ethnos is this group of people saying the word we, saying we belong to a group. You know, whether you're a fan of the New York Yankees, you might find your sense of we, your sense of community there. And the discussion of what that we is creates an ethos or ethics, a discussion around what it means to be a part of that ethnos. I'm not saying that Yankees fans are really an ethnos, but I think there's similarities that are helpful to understand what this idea of we is. And then within that ethos, there is also a discussion, stories that help convey that ethos, that becomes the mythos. And so what the Torah is the ethos and the mythos of the Jewish people living at that time. And yeah, I mean, it's really as simple as that.
Yeah. But for anyone who plans to come up here, if you repeatedly unmute yourself after I mute you, like the whole reason I mute you is because that's my signal to you to shut the fuck up. And if you immediately unmute yourself over and over again, I will just permanently mute you and you won't be able to say jack shit to my audience. That's how that works. In this house, I'm God and I have the power. So, you know, try again, bud. Anyways, today's episode has been brought to you by Astroglide. Get it good, y'all. That's my.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Okay, we're gonna bring up Danner. Danner. I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Hopefully, you'll be a lot more well behaved, and have better house training than the last guest. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2. What pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy.
Can you hear me okay?
Kinda. You're a little bit. You're a bit faint. You might want to get. You have a lot going on in the background. It sounds like.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, there was a fan back there. Better?
Just make sure you get closer to the mic so we can hear you properly.
What's up?
Right.
Okay.
That's much better. All right. Which one of the 5 questions on the board would you like to discuss with me?
Can I ask you a quick question before I pick one?
Sure.
Why do you say you're an atheist instead of an agnostic?
I'm an agnostic atheist. Those aren't mutually exclusive propositions. One refers to my knowledge, one refers to my belief.
Okay, so your atheist is your belief.
Well, actually, it's a lack of belief. Atheism is a lack of belief. So I'm an agnostic atheist because I don't believe in a God, but also I don't have absolute knowledge that there is no God.
Right. Okay.
By the way, everybody's agnostic. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Correct.
I've
had that discussion with people, and they are totally dead set in saying that they're atheists and not agnostic. But
Well,
the fact that you can't prove that there is no God,
they are
means
atheists.
that you kind of have to.
They are atheists, though, because all that's required for you to be an atheist is to lack a belief in a God. It doesn't require you to make the positive statement that there are no gods. Absolutely.
But isn't that the same thing as saying that you believe there is no God?
Yeah, I don't believe. No, I'm not saying I don't believe there's no God. I'm saying I just don't believe in God. There's a difference. Like a God could exist, but I don't. But I'm not convinced it does. So as long as I lack belief in God, I'm atheist. I'm without belief in theism.
He's unconvinced by the God proposition.
I get that, but
if
there's so much order, there has to be a possibility that there's a God.
I don't think so. God's not a possibility until
there has to be a possibility. It doesn't mean that there has to be one.
I don't think it's even possible. I'm not convinced that gods are possible.
But you just said you're agnostic, though, so there has to be a possibility.
I could be wrong, but as far as I can tell, there's no possibility.
What would convince you?
I don't know. That's your job to figure out, bud. But luckily, none of the topics on the board are, does God exist? So, is Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God?
I guess that's why should you be a Christian?
Yeah, why should I be a Christian?
Well, I think if you look at it like the moral argument, then you have to kind of decide where do your morals come from.
Yeah, my morals come from a consideration of well-being and fairness. And my experience is that like I'd rather not be Christian because like most of the most immoral people that I know end up being Christian. Like I have Christians who come on my live consistently and make apologetics for rape, and who don't some even say that you can't rape your wife. It's impossible to rape your wife. I've had Christians come up here and badmouth me, and so it doesn't seem like Christianity really does anything to make people more moral.
No, well, there's definitely sinful Christians for sure. Just because you're a Christian doesn't mean that you're not a sinful person. Doesn't mean that you can't do wrong.
Sin is it has no meaning to me. Sin is breaking God's law, and I don't think there's a law of God to break.
I believe that sin is a manipulation of creation. You're going outside the way God intended things to be.
If I make a cake, am I sinning because I'm manipulating creation?
No, because God designed you to build and work.
I don't demonstrate that.
When God put Adam and Eve in the garden, it was their job.
I don't believe in Adam.
Responsibility.
I don't believe in Adam and Eve. Proof that they existed.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the Bible.
Danner, that doesn't even make sense within the context of the Bible, because there's so many things that render people impure, but are not necessarily sin, and so but there's still a need for purgation. And it seems to me that Christians sort of just assume that there's this one category of sin, and then flatten everything else, and just
sorry.
Well, hold on, you're not even listening to what I'm saying, because like literally. Having a nocturnal emission renders somebody impure, but that's a perfectly natural thing to happen. And it's not that they're a bad person. It's not that they've done something wrong. It's just that they're restricted in their access to certain things.
Right. I'm not claiming that those things make you impure. I'm saying that if there is a moral hierarchy.
Why are you able to say that doesn't make somebody impure?
To do what specifically?
To like have
a nocturnal emission. How are you able to undo the Bible's word?
Was it by choice? Did you choose to?
No one choose. You know what nocturnal emission is, right?
I think we might be thinking of two different things.
Wet dreams.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, no one chooses. No one chooses to have a wet dream.
Right. So there's no choice in the matter.
Giving birth. I mean, if you choose to have sex and you choose to make a baby, and when a woman has a baby, that renders her unclean for a certain period of time.
Right, during the Old Testament laws.
Well, Jesus was A-okay with the law of Moses, so it's irrelevant to the conversation. But yeah, renders you unclean. But I think we got a little bit off from the topic of like morals. Like all morals are subjective. Even your morals are subjective. There are no such thing as objective morals.
Yeah, but there is a moral hierarchy.
I mean, people who have more power can like push who have bigger sticks can like force you to do what they want. Sure.
No, but we'd say cutting in line and killing somebody are two totally different things.
Sure, but sure.
One is worse than the other. But now that we've built the scale, we have to ask, where did that come from?
Yeah, that comes from a sense of a sense of empathy because of our evolutionary history. Human beings are a social species, and therefore like it's kind of ingrained into us that we like work in accordance with fairness and well-being, because like that's what's led to the propagation of our species. People who don't do that die off.
Yeah, but how do you know that's from evolution and not from something else?
Yeah, because we know that humans evolved, and we know that humans are a social species.
Yeah, but that could also go wrong too. People can evolve in the wrong ways, like in slavery.
And what happened? And that has nothing to do with evolution. And
no, but
things that evolve in the wrong way, whatever that means, die, and that species ceases to exist. Which is why 99% of every species that's ever existed has gone extinct.
Right.
Evolution is about a lot of success within a particular environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could say it's good to be good, but
Well,
why? Like I
well,
don't. I believe that people are born with a moral
good-
conscience. You
good-
know, like when
well,
Adam and Eve. I know you don't believe it, but what I believe is
Danner,
that they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Therefore, they're given that moral compass.
Yes, I know
But
they
however,
ate from the magic
that
tree,
doesn't
and
mean
therefore
you're
God
born
punished.
with that.
I know the
Yeah,
story.
okay, but
They
hold
ate
on,
from
let
the
me finish.
magic. They ate from the magic tree. Now everyone's punished. Good just simply means that something is
Correct.
beneficial towards a goal. That's all that word means. Good means beneficial towards a goal.
But that doesn't mean that's not
my goal-
necessarily.
No, that's what good means in regards to morality.
No, because good is subjective. Because what if I kill somebody and I take all their stuff?
Well,
That's good for me, right?
Well, the question is, what's your goal? Is your goal fairness and well-being?
Maybe in the short term.
What's that?
Is your goal fairness and well-being?
Define fair.
Fair, equal weights and measures. Do I also need to define that?
I don't understand.
Do I need?
If there has to be a fair,
you don't understand what fair means, really?
Well, the fairness is subjective, like you were saying. There is no moral.
No, it's not. No, because you can like whether or not, like, for example, if I take a loaf of bread and I give you a fourth of it and you give me a third of it, it's objective that I got more than you did. That's not subjective.
Absolutely.
So it's objectively
but it is more
unfair.
beneficial for you. And if we're going to be evolutionists, then why not say it's better for you and not as good for me, the strong survive?
Okay, that's not that's not evolution. Anyways, beneficial, no, it doesn't benefit me to be unfair because my goal is fairness and well-being, and doing something contrary to that is detrimental to the goal, not beneficial to the goal.
But it is beneficial towards you.
It's not beneficial to my goal. My goal is fairness and well-being, and if I do something like something unfair, that's detrimental to the goal. Therefore, by definition, not beneficial. Beneficial would mean that I'm performing an action that is like positive towards the goal that I have established, being fairness and well-being. That's the part you seem to be missing, is that my goal is fairness and well-being. Any action that goes against that is detrimental.
We would say it would be generous if you gave me half the bread. If you had a loaf of bread,
it would be fair,
and I didn't have any. It would be generous for you.
It would be fair.
All right.
Objectively,
you don't have to give me it. You don't have to give me
I don't
half
have to.
of your bread.
I don't have to. But if my goal is to promote fairness and well-being, then yes, I do have to.
But why is your goalness to do that?
Yeah, because I recognize that, for example, I want to be treated fair. So the best way for me to make sure that I get treated fair is that we live in that we promote a society where fairness and well-being is like the grounding of our moral system.
But would you agree that we're naturally selfish human beings?
We're naturally selfish and naturally generous. We're both. It's not one or the other. Even apes, our other ape cousins, exhibit both selfishness and fairness, depending on the context. Like, for example, we've seen instances where one of the apes in a community is like weaker than the others, and yet the food gets evenly dispersed. Like, they still bring it food, despite the fact that it can't defend for itself because there's like because they're social species. They understand that if they do not do this, if I don't provide the food for them, what happens when I'm the one who needs food? Then the rest of the group won't provide food for me, and then I'm dead.
Yodi describes this as descriptive hedonism. In other words, you do the things that help you to avoid the most amount of pain and gain the greatest amount of pleasure.
Right. But on the other hand, we would also say if there was a weak animal or whatever in the herd and the other ones kicked it out or ate it, there wouldn't be any moral discrimination against that at all.
No, what happens when you're the weak animal?
That sucks for you.
Well, okay, then wouldn't you want to, if it was up to you, everyone doesn't want to be the weak animal that gets kicked out, right?
Correct.
So the best thing for us to do to make sure that we're not the one who gets kicked out is to establish a society where we take care of the weak.
No, I'm not arguing that you're wrong. I'm not arguing that.
Why, then what's the debate about? Because if you would,
I'm asking you, where does that come from, though? Like when I said, when we were talking about the magic tree that you wanted.
Yes, from a desire to not be treated, to be mistreated unfairly, and to not have my well-being encroached upon.
It's a desire to avoid pain and suffering. Like Here's the thing: what you're doing is you're superimposing this particular theology, and you're making it a prescriptive theology, which is what makes it immediately distasteful and unapproachable, because you're having an immediate presupposition before entering into any part of the conversation. If you were to say, "Look, I see this biological being that has unfolded over the course of billions of years and has these unbelievably intricate processes that have resulted in mostly failures, but in our case, and we're here today, and we're looking backwards, and we're looking at the immense amount of choices that have had to be made to reach this incredible moment in time. And that's if your theology is descriptive, then you will find a much more pleasant path in having a conversation. Whereas if you are asking us to join in with your own presupposition, you're gonna have a bad time. Like,
well, we all have our own presuppositions. That's why we're here talking to each other. If we didn't, there would be nothing to talk about.
Well, I think that the only one that we don't have is like the "I think, therefore I am." Like, that presupposition is something that I think we all share, and I think it is worth it to make the leap that most of us share in this common experience called reality, and then from there we can discuss the ways in which science have demonstrated certain things to be true beyond a reasonable doubt. And the issue is, once you start superimposing an extremely subjective worldview onto other people's worldviews, there is sort of an ick that comes with that. It is a sort of a greasy kind of feeling when somebody's like, there's this objective thing that exists outside of time and space that is that you need to understand where I'm coming from. It becomes this really weird conversation where it's like, I don't think we're having the same. We're not speaking the same language here anymore.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we're all going to have our own presuppositions, but if I'm giving you a case and you're saying that it's only because of social normalities that, we want to do good and look at one other classification of a social animal, then we can also pull up all the other animals in the animal kingdom that say that.
That's why. Why did you say the word only?
Danner, Danner, but we're not talking about other animals. We're talking about Homo sapiens. We are Homo sapiens. So whatever a fox does amongst other foxes is irrelevant to the conversation.
Okay.
But I'm interested, Danner.
But there's also,
Danner, are you capable of making an argument for objective morality that isn't just, I don't like the repercussions of subjective morality being true?
I don't think that there is subjective reality. I think there is
morality,
only one reality.
Subjective morality. And yes,
I don't think there is subjective morality.
Wait. Do I not have a moral system that I abide by? Me?
Yes, and you have a hierarchical one that's built inside you.
And my moral position, does it not come from my brain? My mind?
Sure. Yeah, we've all been given one.
Then it's subjective. It's a subjective moral system that's demonstrating that it exists. What is the evidence that an objective moral system exists?
Okay, I don't think that there'd be anybody in here that would say stealing a candy bar and shooting somebody in the head for no reason are two totally different things.
I didn't make that claim. They're just not. It's not just objectively
I know,
immoral.
but I'm just proving that there is a moral hierarchy that we all grade off of,
which is based on our subjective moral system.
That's not. Yeah.
Like, we all know it's wrong to cut in line.
That's not what subjective and objective is, though. That's not what the definition of subjective and objective is.
Yeah.
Subjective means
definition.
Stance dependent on a mind or dependent on a particular stance. Objective is independent of stance. It is outside of any stance or mind. It exists whether there are minds or not to perceive it.
So as long as the moral system is coming from a stance or a mind, it's subjective. The only way a moral system can be objective is if it's independent of any stance or mind or feelings.
So is slavery subjectively bad?
Yes.
So it could be okay.
Depends what you mean by okay. Because by okay, do you mean, is it beneficial towards the goal of fairness and well-being? Then no. Do you just have
I believe slavery is objectively bad.
Well, you can make the claim that it's objectively bad, but how is it objective?
But then I have to have a basis for that.
Yeah, what's the evidence that's objective?
By the way, Danner, I learned a new term the other day called intersubjective morality. And like, by the way, I also, my understanding is also an objective morality, but it is a descriptive one, not based in a higher power or something like that. And that's not a transcendent objective morality. And a lot of people have a lot of questions still about it. But I'm not interested in getting into my particular version. But intersubjective morality is the idea that people, that there is what you're describing, that most people would say that stealing a candy bar is not acceptable. And that the fact that we have this intersubjective from one subject to a next, from the fact that we have these intersubjective conversations, and that creates sort of a very widespread and tightly wound web of what it is that we call morality, then it is. You understand what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm getting flagged down for something right now.
So if you believe in objective morality,
actually, real quick, Danner, I have to ask you a question. Do you agree with the Bible? Do you agree with the Bible verse that I have highlighted on the screen?
Sorry, I don't have my glasses. Can you read it for me?
Yeah, Romans 7:12. So the law is holy, and the commandment is holy and just and good.
Right. Yep.
So you agree that the law of God is good?
The law of God is good, yes.
All right. Leviticus chapter 25.
Is that objectively or subjectively?
Well, that's independent of I'm just asking your opinion here. Is the law of God good? You agree that it's good. So you made the claim that slavery is bad, but the law is good. Leviticus 25, verses 44 through 46. As for the male and female slaves whom you may have, and here, actually, it doesn't say whom you may have in the Hebrew, it says whom you will have. It is from the nations that you will acquire male and female slaves. You will also acquire them from among the aliens residing with you and from their families who are with you, who have been born in your land. They will be your property. You will keep them as a possession for your children after you, for them to inherit as property. These you will treat as slaves. But as for your fellow Israelites, no one shall rule over the other with harshness. Is this good?
Are they indentured slaves, or were they?
No, these are slaves.
Did they put themselves into their own slavery?
No, as we just read, that these are slaves that you buy from the nations, and they are owned for life. You pass them on to your kids.
Did they give themselves up though?
No, you bought them.
Where do you see that?
As for the male and female slaves whom you will have, it is from the nations around you that you will acquire your male and female slaves. You may also acquire them from among the aliens residing with you and from their families whom you may have born in your land. They may be your property. They're your property.
Right. Okay. So it doesn't say, but let's just say they were.
How do you acquire property?
You buy them.
There you go. These are property, right?
Right.
There you go.
That's what an indentured servant is, though.
Okay, you own them as property then. Is it okay to own? Wait, so when you said slavery is bad, you are okay with other people owning people as property so long as you don't, as long as they sell themselves?
Well, if you put yourself in, like, let's say the countries around them were worse and they didn't have any food and they were terrible and they were slaves themselves.
They weren't worse.
If they purchased them because they wanted to go there, I'm not arguing for slavery, but I can see a scenario where somebody would want to go.
What happens if you have a man who's a slave and you have a woman who's a slave and they get married? Is the kid a slave? Does the kid get to go out with the dad when they get released?
I'm sure they would be a slave.
Yeah, and they don't get to go out. Does the woman get to leave? Ever?
I don't know the history on that.
The answer is no. Women slaves do not get to go free. Only Hebrew male slaves get to go free. If you're not Hebrew and you're not male, then you don't get to leave for your slavery. You are a slave for life. Is this good or bad?
So I would say that is bad.
All right, then God's law is bad.
So slavery is subjective.
Yeah. You've yet to demonstrate that
So that means that it can be good.
Again, Danner. No, not good if your goal is fairness and well-being. I just gotta know, Danner, is your goal fairness and well-being? If it's not, you might be a danger to society.
Yes, my goal is fairness.
And well-being.
But you also have to, what kind of meter are we scaling that under? Because there has to be a comparable.
We can make objective statements about what is fair and what is according to well-being. Like, for example,
but you just said all morals are subjective, so you cannot.
Subjective in the sense that the moral system that I've chosen comes from my mind. It's like chess.
So
Danner.
your mind tells you what is good and what's not.
Danner. It's like chess. Are the rules of chess made up?
Yes.
But once we agree on the rules of chess, can we make objective statements about what is and isn't a legal move in chess?
Yes.
All right. The standard that I set for what I consider moral being, fairness and well-being, that's subjective. But if you and I can agree that that's the goal that we should work towards, we can make objective statements about what is conducive or not conducive towards that goal.
Yes, but that's assuming that the game of chess cannot be changed again.
Sure, sure. If you, Danner, no longer have the goal of fairness and well-being, so be it. But mine's not changing. My goal is fairness and well-being.
That has to be compared to something rock solid. Otherwise, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. To everything.
Again, Danner, your entire argument. It looks like your entire argument for objective morals is just, I don't like the repercussions of subjective morals, and that's not an argument for subject. That's not an argument for objective morals. We are no closer to believing that objective morals exist. All we've established is that you don't like subjective morals.
No, I didn't say that I don't like subjective morals. Of course, I would like to choose the way I want to live my life and what I think is good. No, you don't.
If you like subjective morals, you wouldn't be sitting up here complaining the whole time about them.
I'm not complaining about them. I'm saying that's what I believe.
Can you provide any positive evidence for objective morals that isn't, well, if subjective morals were true, then this would be the case?
Sorry, say that again.
Can you provide a positive argument for objective morals that isn't just, well, if subjective morals are true, then this would be the case? Example, if I was debating a creationist, I wouldn't have to prove evolution is true by going, well, I don't like creationism because X, Y, and Z. No, I would just provide the evidence for evolution. I wouldn't have to talk about creationism at all. In the same way, for you to give me an argument for objective morals, you don't have to say anything about subjective morals.
Right. I think objectively, people are bad that try to do good. I think objectively, it's good
What makes it objective?
That we are bad?
Yeah, what makes it objective?
That I believe well, okay, I guess we first have to start with the presupposition. Is selfishness bad?
Subjectively, no. Objectively, can you make the case that it's objectively bad? You don't seem to be understanding what I'm asking of you.
Well, apparently now we've flipped arguments, because before
this has been the same thing I've been asking you for nearly half an hour now, to provide me a positive argument for objective morals that isn't just, I don't like subjective morals or the repercussions of it. Can you provide me evidence that this thing that you don't like is objectively
Generosity
bad?
is a good thing.
Okay, what makes it objectively good?
That it is beneficial in selflessness.
Why is that
someone else?
How does that beneficial towards a specific goal? What makes that goal objective?
That it is based on, which is, I have a base, but
you
don't.
No, I do have a base.
Basis of
my
faith.
base.
No,
My base.
You just said it comes from your own head.
My base is like my social and evolutionary. My social evolutionary history. Your base is what though? What makes it objective? In other words, again,
my faith.
Your faith is based. Your faith is still subjective. Your faith is based in your own mind.
No.
Yes. Without a brain, without your mind, you would have no faith.
Yes, but without tangibility and reading
What makes
objective
it?
things, I
What
wouldn't be able to
makes?
believe
What makes it objective?
the Bible.
The Bible. What? How? Why is it coming from the Bible and make it objective? All
Because
I'm getting from this is that
because my
your
presupposition
it
says
seems
that
like
it's true.
Okay, prove that it's true.
Well, that takes faith.
Okay, this is not going anywhere. I think what we're getting from this is that you're not able to make an argument for objective morals.
But you can't make one for subjectivity.
No, I have. I proved to you that subjective morals exist. You just don't like them. That's the only problem.
But based off of what?
Based off the fact that you keep complaining about it proves that you don't like subjective morals.
No. Based off of, you're not giving me any basis for why you believe in subjective morality.
Because it's all that exists. I have no evidence of objective morals. Therefore,
It
the only
is
thing
because
left is
it is.
subjective.
Like that's circular reason.
No, Danner, it's not circular. If objective morals don't exist, then the only morals left are subjective ones. And that's all I have access to. Until you demonstrate that objective morals exist, but you don't seem to be able to do so. But quite frankly, I'm tired of going in circles with you, and we're not getting any closer to you giving us any evidence for objective morals. So you have a good day. Gee whiz. They just can't wrap their heads around it. Hey, Cyber.
That made my brain itch.
I know.
And if he's still in here, when he brought up like generosity, generosity itself has like no moral value. It could be the case that you could be overly generous in giving your money away, but then you're causing harm to, say, your family, because now you're in a situation where they can't eat. And that would be morally wrong. Or it could be the case where you are being selfish, but it's to protect your family, and that would be morally right. So, like, I don't know, that was just a weird thing he tried to say.
Yeah, they just didn't understand what objective meant. So, even though we told them over and over again. All right, we got someone in the comment section here who has a really weird name, and it's very confusing, but I guess we'll find out. Allah Christ. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get into talking about one of the 5 topics on the board. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old? Camera
Yes.
off. Camera off, by the way.
Yes.
Anyways, question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him, I guess.
And question number 3, are you a Christian or are you a Muslim?
Christian.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 5 questions on the board do you think you might have a good answer for me?
Is Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God?
All right.
Wait, is that the one? Wait, I choose one, or you mean go down the list?
Yeah, you choose one. That seems to be the one you choose. And
I choose number 5.
does the Bible have fulfilled prophecy? All right. Provide me an evidence of the Bible having fulfilled prophecy.
Well, everybody's an embodiment of God's wisdom.
No, I'm not.
You are. You're governed by mathematical law.
That has
Wait,
nothing to
where's
do with
that
your God.
prophecy in the
where's
Bible at?
I'm actually curious.
There's quite literally the book of Numbers.
Wait, Allah. Do you know what the word prophecy means?
Yes.
Give me a definition for prophecy.
If I say tomorrow the sun will collapse into nothingness and it happens, that's a true prophecy.
In other words, prophecy is a prediction of the future.
Yes.
All right. Give me a prediction of the future from the Bible that came true.
The sun will rise from the west. We develop nuclear fusion.
When the sun rises from the west is not a prophecy, because it's always rise from the west.
No, it's referring to nuclear fusion, as in we developed the first nuclear reactor.
No, when it says the sun will rise from the west, that refers to the sun rising from the direction west.
Well, you haven't read Deuteronomy. It says that there will be allegory. It says there will be allegory and there will be truth, but people will take the allegory and twist it as truth.
That's a nice little claim you got.
Which is the sun will rise from the west is allegory from nuclear fusion.
This guy's crazy. So that's a nice little analogy you got. Analogy or whatever you got there. Be ashamed if someone just shat on it.
Okay, I have a question then. If you believe it's literal, the sun rises from the west, how would that exist when there is no west or east?
There is a west and east. Yeah, that's like humans.
How could the sun rise from the west? And you can look at the sun from rise from
here, I'll explain. I'll explain it to you. I mean,
no such thing as the sun rising.
I guess you missed. I don't know, kindergarten or something like that. But long time ago, human beings like created this category of like the 4 cardinal directions. We created north, east, south, and west. Human beings also wrote the Bible. Human beings see the sun rising. It doesn't actually rise, but this is called what's called
Human beings do not write the Bible.
this is called phenomenological language. Human beings see the sun rising, and they see it coming from the direction of west. So the people who wrote the Bible, they understand that there's such a thing as west that they talk about, and they also recognize the same thing called the sun that exists. And what happens is the people in the Bible notice that when they look to the west in the morning, the sun would rise. So they said that the sun would rise in the west. It's very simple.
So you believe it's literal based on human phenomena?
Phenomenological language.
Then how would you say that prophecy hasn't come true
It's not a prophecy.
Many phenomena?
It's not a prophecy.
Many things will come true. No, I'm not even talking about the total rise from the west. But if you want to use cardinal directions,
I'm gonna make a prophecy. Tomorrow, somewhere in the world, someone is going to eat steak. If it comes true tomorrow, am I a prophet?
Yes, quite literally by definition.
That's not okay.
If you want to, first you want to talk semantics, and then you want to talk literal.
This is the problem, Allah. This is not prophecy. This is observation about how things.
Divine revelation.
It's not. We don't need divine revelation.
Where all thoughts come from.
Jesus fucking Christ. You don't need divine revelation to notice. All you need to notice that the sun rises from the west is to have eyes and to be able to look in the direction of west in the morning. That's all that's required to make the statement, the sun will rise in the west. That's not a prophecy. That's an observation. It rises in the east. Oh, does the Bible even say it rises in the west? That's a good question.
Revelations are divine. That's what the Bible is predicated
where does
upon.
the Bible say the sun will rise in the west? Because that's never happened. Yeah, that's been tripped. I guess I got tripped up on that. The sun rises from the east. It's never rose from the west.
Which is why I say that the allegory is not based on phenomena. It's based on the literal.
So instead of the Bible, instead of like the Bible just got it wrong, you have to twist the Bible into saying something it didn't say just to excuse the fact that the Bible was wrong. But also the Bible doesn't make the claim that the sun will rise from the west. You're confused. The Quran makes that claim. You dumb.
I'm Allah Christ. I can quote the Quran and the Bible. Nonetheless, though.
Yeah, Arab requested back up.
Yeah. Hey, Allah. Who's Miriam?
The mother of Jesus.
Okay. Was there any other Miriams?
I'm sure there's a lot of Miriams.
In the Bible, there's another Miriam. Who is she?
The whore of Babylon, I think.
Jesus fucking Christ. Maybe.
But nonetheless.
Wait. You said, you said to me, did you read the book of Deuteronomy? Have you read the book of Deuteronomy?
Yes, and the reason I asked that is because
Exodus.
Maybe
Book of Exodus.
Do you have you read
She's
Exodus?
in Deuteronomy too. No, she dies in Numbers. She dies in Numbers.
I just say one sentence.
Yeah, no, you've shown everyone that you're an idiot. So Miriam is also the name of Moses' sister. There is Miriam and Aaron and Moses. They were siblings. Would it be silly if someone referred to Mary, the mother of Jesus, as the sister of Aaron?
If you've ever read later Wittgenstein, then no. It wouldn't be silly. Words are arbitrary sounds that come from the mouth, which is why the Bible does not.
I don't give a shit. Would someone be making a silly mistake if they said that Miriam, the mother of Jesus, and Miriam, the sister of Aaron, are two different people from the Bible, separated by well over 1,000 years? If someone said that the mother of Jesus, Miriam, was the sister of Aaron, would they be correct or would they be incorrect?
Based on the axioms of the Bible, they would be correct. Based on your axioms, they're incorrect.
Don't use words.
You can't judge a book based on the logic of another.
Don't use words you don't know the meaning to. No, according to the Bible, that person would be wrong because Miriam, the sister of Aaron, lived 1,000 years before Miriam, the mother of Jesus. That would be wrong. This guy doesn't know anything about what he's talking about. He's just saying words at this point.
You're muting me before I say 5 words, you mute me, and then you say you don't know what you're talking about, and then you give 50 words and be like, "Oh, look, I've explained it way better than he has."
Yes or no? Does the Bible present Miriam as being both the mother of Jesus and the sister of Aaron, and being the same person? It's a yes or no.
In some cases, yeah.
No. Show me where in the Bible it says that Miriam, the mother of Jesus, is the sister of Aaron. They lived 1,000 years apart from each other.
You asked me if the Bible mentioned Miriam more than once. I thought you were asking if it's saying there's 2 Mary.
Okay, maybe I need to reiterate because you're too slow. Listen really closely. Listen closely, son. All right. There is a Miriam of the Old Testament. She was the sister of Moses and the sister of Aaron. 1,000 years later, in the New Testament time, there's another Miriam, the mother of Jesus. If someone made the claim that Miriam, the mother of Jesus, is the same Miriam who is the sister of Aaron, would this be a true statement or a false statement?
False.
All right. Does the Quran make the claim that the Miriam, the mother of Jesus, is the sister of Aaron? Yes or no? Yes or yeah? I don't care.
Whatever answer you want.
I don't care if you think it's boring. Yes or no? Yes or no? Does the Quran make the claim that Miriam, the mother of Jesus, is the sister of Aaron? No.
The Quran or the Bible?
The Quran.
Bible, no. Quran, yes. Which is what I'm trying to say.
So the Quran is wrong, isn't it?
Based on
reality, yes, the Quran is wrong.
Imagine chirping so hard in chat and
you're
then coming
using a
up
book
here and
to say
immediately
another
getting
book is wrong
sniped.
when there's another book that says that book is wrong.
Can I just have a second with them?
Yeah, go ahead, Ems.
YN, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So what religion are you, please?
Christian.
So what is the point of having Allah in your name?
Allah is Arabic for God.
Sure, Allah is Arabic for God, or a specific God.
To be specific,
Arabic
Ems,
for God.
he made the claim that the Bible prophesies that the sun will rise in the west, which I point out was not in the Bible, was instead in the Quran. And then he just continued to say that's still a prophecy. That's why we brought up the Islam thing.
That is not even in the Quran. That is in the Hadith.
It's in the Hadith, so it's even further removed. Why are you quoting a Hadith?
It is in, I think it is either Muslim Bukhari 1999.
So why are you quoting a Hadith, Allah Christ?
Because all divine revelations come from the Christian God, including the revelations from Muhammad.
So why is the
Christian?
So you
believe?
Is the Christian
so
God?
You believe in Muhammad?
Yeah. Do you believe Muhammad?
In his existence or his prophecy?
No, as is his prophecy.
Yes, I believe all his prophecies that came true were prophecies.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. No, I meant his prophethood.
In his prophethood, yes.
Okay, so you agree with him when he says that Jesus is not the Son of God?
In Arabic, yes, but there's different connotations.
In Arabic, what do you mean in Arabic?
Son. The connotation of son in Arabic is different.
We're not talking about English.
Sure, what do you mean by
I'm saying the Quran, when it goes, the idea of son of God is not literally like God slept with Mary and produced a son. That is what was the general connotation at the time that Muhammad was speaking on, was people literally believe Jesus is the son of a personified God.
Does the Quran only speak against God having physical relations, or does it just say that God does not have any offspring?
He doesn't have any relationships. He has
God
no
is
offspring.
Completely removed from this entire everything
sure.
that exists is completely removed from God.
The Quran disagrees with the New Testament, though. The New Testament makes the claim that God does have relations. He has a son.
No, the Quran acknowledges the New Testament as revelation.
No, it
doesn't. The Torah.
No,
yes, it does. The Gospel or it's called Injil in Arabic. It doesn't say every single thing in the Testament is true, but it does.
The Injil is not the Gospels.
Christ.
The Quran calls itself the final revelation, as in the Old Testament, New Testament, then Quran.
When? the Injil? No, I'm saying
in the
YN.
first surah of
I'm
the
just
Quran.
getting. What can I call you?
You can call me whatever you want. You can call me a bitch if you want.
No,
I'm not tripping about the
what
name.
name could I call you? Because I keep saying YN and you think that I'm saying when.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I actually did think you were saying when. I can't lie.
So I'm just gonna call you Y. Okay. So Y. The Injil and the Quran is not the same thing as the Gospels.
Interesting.
You know that, right?
No, I do.
Okay, so the reason I'm telling you that they're not the same thing, even though they are the same word, is because Injil is referring to God's word that was dictated to Jesus. In the same way that God's word was dictated to Muhammad. But the Gospels that we have today, are disciples of Jesus' words, speaking about what they saw and what they lived. So those are two different things.
No, the Quran says, like Surah 3, colon 185, then life of this world is the enjoyment of delusion.
Sure, but what does that have to do with what I said?
God quite literally deludes people into seeing different things as part of a master plan. It's eschatological,
Sure,
it's
but
teleological.
that has nothing to do with what I just said.
I see one deluded person
Yes, it
here.
is. You're saying the New Testament said this, and people said they saw this, but the Quran says something else. That's why Allah is known as the great deceiver. He quite literally. And what does the first surah say?
The Fatiha. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب
No,
عليهم ولا
Surah
الضالين.
Al-Baqarah, not
Al-Baqarah is the second, not the first.
Okay, semantics, bro.
Not semantics.
Not considered a literal surah.
Semantics. Semantics is what semantics are what people say when they don't like the meaning of words.
Okay, all I was saying, to sum up what I'm saying, is the Quran says life of this world is enjoyment of delusion.
The Quran is bullshit. It says that sperm comes from between the backbone and the
Everything
ribs.
is bullshit. The Quran itself says that.
So the Quran is bullshit. Yeah, you're just
all words are arbitrary.
This guy's just making shit up. This guy's just making. I'm so over it. This guy has nothing. All he does is he's just a crackpot. He just says all kinds of random shit. And his God has dissociative identity disorder because his God has a son but doesn't have a son. I'm
gonna be honest. I think that either he's a very good troll or he's currently on mushrooms.
Yeah.
Can you just give me
either way? I don't want to platform them anymore. They're a waste of space.
Well, that was interesting.
It was tangentially Muslim related, at least. Semantically Muslim related.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too, bud.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Jesus Christ, I feel dumber for having sat down and listened to that person for so long. Gee whiz. Okay, we'll talk to. I'll bring up one last guest, and then that's the end of the show. We're gonna talk to V Value. V Value. I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Dalton approved my poll. How do I? One second, bud. 1 second. Someone's poll. Okay, I'll go to poll. I'm guess it's be there. Would it be under custom poll? Oh, sure. I'll just how do I approve?
Hey, I'm sorry. I accidentally joined up on here. I'm a friendly. My bad. Can I just bounce out?
Okay, then. Thanks for coming up, bud.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Let me see. There you go. There's a poll up now. All of you participate in it. Does Dalton the Bible guy like pickles? Here's the hint for you. I like anything that's roughly dick shaped. So there you go. So anyway,
now that you got the poll up, you should do a little dance in celebration. Do a little pole dance.
Pole dance.
Right. It is the case that it is a fact. I do like bananas more for their shape than their flavor. This is true.
Oh man, Dalton, I got a theory on Mary and Herod. On Mary and Herod, that's crazy. Like what? That Jesus is Herod's bastard or something like that. Here's a funny question, but have you ever spoke with the devil on the Oculus? Have you ever spoke with the devil on the Oculus? I don't know what that means.
Like the Facebook. That's like the Facebook VR thing or whatever. Like the.
That you can talk
the VR goggles. I don't know. That's what Oculus is. So I don't know about anything other than that.
you can talk to the
It's a
devil
funny
on
idea.
it. I haven't talked to the devil on it. No. If you let me know what app that is, you know. Let's see.
But what Dalton can do is put belt to ass with Catholic AI.
Yeah, that's facts. Do you ever use them? Oculus? Yeah, I have one. I play Beat Saber on it. We can play meta mini golf. Mini golf. That sounds fun though. I also do play the Star Wars game on there. Will you do an accuracy or inaccuracy review for biblical media? Eventually, I do plan on eventually getting around to doing like me watching Bible related media, movies and stuff like that, and then talking about them while I watch them. So, you know, keep your eye out for that, people. Once I, you know, I might end up having to I'll probably end up doing it one day whenever I have enough money to hire my own editor, because I don't want to have to edit those kind of videos. It's very difficult.
So, fun fact right now, just because somebody asked, does LDS have an AI? The LDS church right now, with their current leadership change, is kind of starting to have some infighting. The LDS church, a number of years ago, made it a big deal. They're asked, you know, why don't you guys wear crosses? Well, because while the unalivement of Jesus is important, it's the fact that he lives. That's what we want to talk about. And so they've kind of viewed all crosses as idol worship, but on Temple Square, they now have a statue of Jesus carrying the cross. The choices that the church makes, they have their first presidency was made up of their president / prophet, and then they have a quorum of the 12. And any decisions that are made are supposed to be unanimous. That's how you know it's coming from God, is they all feel the same desire to pass whatever they're going to pass. But the new president has stated that they're no longer going to be like announcing new temples during their conference, and that he has felt that they shouldn't have been doing that for quite a while, which runs into a contradiction in that the Quorum of the 12 and the first presidency are supposed to be like 100% unanimous because this inspiration comes from God. So it's just kind of funny watching with this new presidency, the LDS church's doctrine just crumble to pieces.
Velvet Mars says, I actually love the meta worlds. They're crazy. I don't get enough on. It's like I have it here, but the problem is I just never charge it, so I never play it. And but the poll has ended, and apparently the answer is yes. The Bible guy does like pickles, so I don't know why you guys wanted to know that, but there you go.
But do you like them for their flavor?
You go full sour or half sour?
It depends. I get in moods for it sometimes, but like only when I'm pregnant. No, I'm just kidding. No, I it's very rare that I'm just like, ooh, I want to eat a pickle. Yeah, not really me. It's too vinegary, and I have acid reflux and stuff like that. But anyways,
that's probably why you didn't go all the way with the Judaism thing.
Because of the pickles, all the pickles.
Yeah. You gotta pickle everything.
I tried to buy my bubba used to make me give me so many pickles, and I just hated it. That's what Dalton, would you consider watching the Bible show that's popular and critique it? The Bible? You mean like the one that was on the History Channel, the Bible? The one that was made by Roma Downey? Or are you talking about The Chosen? Because this is my honest take, guys. Even though I'm an atheist, The Chosen isn't actually like I don't like the theology, obviously, but it's like a good show as far as like acting and writing and like the script and the sets and the music is really good. Like it's, as far as Christian media is concerned, it's actually A tier. It's not like most Christian media, like God's Not Dead, which is F tier.
This is true.
I'd be curious about accuracy. Yeah. From what because I've watched it. Let me think. Is there anything in it that immediately struck me as inaccurate? They were surprisingly really on it about like trying to get as much of like, it's crazy that throughout the, like, for example, Rav, throughout the show, they have Jesus and his disciples all wearing tunics that have tzitzit on them.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's the Zebedee, who is John and James's dad, is like, I don't know what about him. He just reminds me of an older Jewish gentleman. The way they portray him, it's like, it's very good. But overall, it's, as far as I know, it's pretty accurate as far as like first century Judea is concerned. Let's see. Dalton, did you hear Justin is collabing with Christ Before Jesus next week? No way. I'll probably have to watch that as long as I'm not live at the same time.
Is that next week? I probably could have texted Jaren to find out, but is that next week? Somebody was saying it was tonight.
Tonight. I'll be here if you are. Oh man, Lou, I love you so much.
Wait,
yeah.
We were studying submission earlier, my colleagues and I.
Yeah.
And we came across this line that said that I can't remember if it was butchers or doctors, but I think it was butchers. They say it says butchers appear as though they that they eat a lot but expel little. In other words, they're full of shit. And so I think it's like a great people who are full of it. You should start saying like, you appear as though you eat a lot but expel little. You know,
Okay. That's actually I'll try to fit that into my next live somehow.
Thank you. That's all I'm asking.
Dalton have you ever heard the song Jesus Freak by DC Talk? What would people say if they knew I was a Jesus freak? Yeah, I'm familiar, and it's part of that it's so cringy. There's so many things with an evangelical culture that they tried to like take Jesus freak, because Jesus freak used to be an insult, and then they tried to like own it, but it's like in a very, I don't know, it's, to me it's just cringy. To me it is. I find a lot of that evangelical, or would people say it's a religion, it's a relationship, not a religion? Like, come on, get the fuck out of here. It's not, it's, even if you thought Jesus was real and that you had a relationship with him, like the idea that it's a mutually exclusive proposition is crazy. If there was a Christian group that I thought was actually decent when it came to music, probably, does Skillet count? Yeah, Lathe of Heaven, there you go. I have gone to only one concert in my whole life, and it was a concert when I was in my senior year of high school, and it was Skillet and Third Day were together at the in Dallas, Texas. I feel we would win the pickle things outside of the US. You are Lou, what's with this obsession with pickles? I got two Jewish homies up on the panel right now. Have either of you guys seen the that Seth Rogen movie about where he makes pickles?
I have not.
I would suggest seeing it. It's pretty good. It's called, let me see what it's called. Let's see. Seth Rogen pickle movie. An American Pickle. It's about a Jewish man who leaves his home in Eastern Europe with his wife to go to the New World, and he accidentally, he works at a pickle factory, and he accidentally falls into a vat of pickles that are briming, and then at the very same moment, no one saw it happen, and at the same moment the factory got shut down. They cover the pickle barrel, and he stays perfectly preserved, so that in the future, in our present day, they open it up, and and he's like just alive. He's perfectly preserved, and he's in the modern world. It's so funny. And he meets his descendant, also played by Seth Rogen, and the green screen is like flawless. Like it's like you kind of forget at one point in the movie that they're both Seth Rogen. I still got to watch. Yeah, watch this. Exactly, Lou. Yeah, do so. Anyways, it's been a time. We didn't get any super chats whatsoever on this live, it looks like. So actually, you know what? Since I have chat revenue, which again it's not showing up. So I guess I'll just have to go over here and then go over to the fan funding so I can see the live. For some reason they didn't show up on the. God damn, I don't know what's going on with my super chat thing, but I'm gonna read them because I can see them here. You just guys won't be able to see them. So let's see.
That's John Klein with the $5. Oh, you guys on the screen. Oop, want to fix that. At John Klein with the $5. Hail Mary, Astrophagelube, Grace and Rocky Save Stars. Yeah.
I think what you meant to refer to was Astroglide, which is my go-to brand for personal fun and for fun with others. But yeah.
And did they mention that Rocky? Did they mention Rocky in there?
Grace and Rocky Save Stars.
Because I happen to have Rocky, like sitting on my table, like the actual Rocky.
As in Rocky and Bullwinkle, or Rocky the boxer?
It's Rocky, the only begotten of Doug and Sharon Stone.
Right, there we go.
The rock that dug through. The rock that concussed Paul.
There you go. Fantastic. Love to see it.
And at Only LC with the $4.99. Hi, my friend. Hello, Only LC. I wish you were coming to Cali this weekend for the DZ meetup. You're exactly the type of person I hang out with. Hashtag LGBTQIA plus. Hashtag acceptance. Aw.
You know what? I wish I was there too. I mean, one of these days, I'm going to, we're all going to get all the me, Blitz, Ian, Justin, all the big creators all together for like some sort of roundtable event. That would be fantastic. And also like with booths where we can meet all of you guys and stuff like that. I would love that so much because like, honestly, my favorite part about doing what I do is you guys. Are you coming to Australia? Lou, I would drop all things in an instant and come to Australia just to see you. And maybe one day. But let's see.
And then
something that
yeah.
I was going to say, something that I would really like to see is like a debate talk convention where it's all the debaters from Debate Talk can do their booths or whatever. And then you can do like panels or live debates and stuff. I think that'd be fun.
I agree. That would be fun. That would be such a hell of a time. I would thoroughly enjoy that. I mean, there's so many people that I spend so much time, like for example, with Justin, not only on his lives, but like we text quite often because he pays some of my checks because I do edits for him and stuff. I spend so much time with all these people, and I've only ever met 3 people on TikTok in person. You could win a trophy for being a master debater. Contra Dita, you know me so well. I would absolutely win a trophy for being a master debater 100%. I do it. I master debating multiple times a day sometimes.
Ian ends up in 3rd place again.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Only LC again with the $1.99. Also, does your co-host have a YouTube? Don't want TikTok.
Do either one of you have YouTube channels that you'd like to promote real quick?
I do. It's also under Cyber Deconstruction. Back when I used to go live regularly, I would dual stream onto there as well. So right now I'm only going to be streaming Friday mornings, and then I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Blitz when he goes live. So right now I'll just be posting those lives onto YouTube. But once I get a PC, I'll start dual streaming again.
Fantastic.
And
what about you, Rabbi? Do you have a channel?
Yeah, but it's okay. I
Just
appreciate the name.
you're
That's
like,
all right.
you're like, I'm good.
We're good. Yeah, we're all right. That's fine.
And then at Sir Game a Lot with the $9.99. How's it going? I'm running Skyrim right now. 4,000 mods, 60 frames per second, 3D LODs. Dalton, have you ever played Oblivion?
Yeah, I have played Oblivion. In fact, when I was younger, I used to my first Elder Scroll game I ever played was Oblivion, and then a couple months later, on December 25th, 2011, I got Skyrim for Christmas, and I played it for well over a decade until Starfield came out, and then Starfield replaced Skyrim for me. But I knew you. Yes, I knew I loved you for a reason. Thank you, Lou. But if I had a better PC, like my PC is fantastic, and the fact that I got it for free from Justin, W to Justin for that, is like amazing. One day though, I'm going to have a PC where I can play Skyrim with like 4,000 plus mods on it. There's like Lorerim is the name of the version of Skyrim I would love to play. But I tried playing Skyrim modded on this PC, and whew, man, it was tough. It was a lot of work.
All right, so in the next Elder Scrolls game, whenever it releases, I really want to see the Dwemer come back.
I think that would be interesting. I'm really here's my secret hope. My secret hope for why I'm hoping the game is taking so long. It's super unlikely, but if it turned out to be true, you heard it here first, folks, and I'm a prophet. But I think it would be fantastic if it turned out that the reason it's taking so long is because the map is all of Tamriel, and it's like the ultimate and final like Elder Scrolls game that's like as good as it possibly could be here.
That would be cool. That would be cool. There was somebody, it was a few months ago, who used to work for Bethesda. They no longer do, and they didn't release any information concerning the new Elder Scrolls itself because they can't. All they said was that they really think it's about time that Bethesda sells some of its IPs, because when it comes to like Fallout, the story writing is extremely lacking in it. If you've played one game and you're playing it for the storytelling's the same. There's no difference. And they said, so if you're looking for the new Elder Scrolls to have like some changing in storytelling or anything, you're just going to be disappointed. They did say that.
Right now, I'm obsessed with Starfield, and I've put in 3,000 plus hours on it. And I'm waiting for there to a DLC about the Starborn. That's what I want. But anyways, next super chat. I just read Sir Game a lot. Oh yeah. And in regards to Oblivion, not only have I played the original one, but I bought the remaster when it came out last year, and it was fantastic. It made me feel like I was a kid again. I loved it.
And I started playing back in Morrowind.
Oh God, I tried playing Morrowind once on Xbox. It was atrocious for me.
Yeah, I can't go back and play it now. Like I tried once and I'm like, I just can't.
Yeah.
At Space Lord 75 with the $4.99. If you can't all agree on the objective morals and you can't wish them, then they ain't objective Christians.
That's true. All of these Christians believe they have objective morals, but like they morally disagree with each other. Interesting, right? Yeah. Can you predict why GTA 6 is taking so long? Because it's gonna be fucking fantastic. And I can't wait to play it. I always, and I'm probably gonna play as, if I get to choose between the protagonists, I'll probably play as the female protagonist, just because I like playing as female roles in games just because, one, they're nicer to look at, and two, they're generally like better written. Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn being perfect example. Tips on where to start learning biblical Hebrew. The one I always suggest that's just the easiest and is the Great Courses Plus, which is like a Netflix for smart people. Basically, you subscribe to it, you get courses for all kinds of subjects, including subjects for biblical Hebrew and Koine Greek.
You can also get a hold of Dr. Joshua Bowen. He and I believe it's his wife throughout the year also teach Hebrew, and I believe they also teach Akkadian and Egyptian throughout the year.
So I was also going to say, I also teach Hebrew and have been teaching with Crystal J on Friday mornings on Discord. So if you're interested in that, you can either reach out to her or to me, and we can get you that information. And it's been a lot of fun.
Goatman says, I'm high as fuck. Did he say Netflix Plus? No, I said the new Courses Plus, which is like Netflix for smart people. So that's so funny. All right. It looks like that is the end of the super chats. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all the audience. I love you guys. Mwah, mwah. Love you guys all. A million kisses. Stay strapped.
That was like 3.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Don't worry, I'll be doing it off screen. But a million kisses for you all. Stay strapped for Peggy. Thank you to Cyber Deconstruction and Rav Kavod for both of your participation. And we will be seeing you all again Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be tomorrow on Jovan Bradley's panel. I think they're discussing. It's not normal. It's discussing who's the best superhero, and we each get to pick a superhero, and we have to debate and give reasons for why we think they're the best one. I've chosen, and I know I'm such a basic bitch for picking it, but Superman, because it's the one superhero that I really truly believe in, and who makes me want to be a better person. So that's the one I will be defending tomorrow. So
man, you better be researching defenses against kryptonite.
Hey, stay close enough to the yellow sun long enough, and you'll become invulnerable to it. So there you go.
Fair.
Yeah. I know my Superman stuff. Okay. Anyone know when Justin and Jaren coming on? I think they said next week, but more than welcome to ask him. He'll be live tomorrow, and I'm sure he could let you guys know. All right.
And real quick too, just a shameless plug for my friend Jaren. If you are interested in Jesus mythicism, Jaren goes live on Christ Before Jesus Monday through Friday. Christ Before Jesus is a book that he and his co-author wrote. So if that's something that interests you, go give Jaren a follow.
Absolutely. All right. And with that, I've been the Bible guy. Remember, I want to keep reading, keep learning, and we'll see you all again on Saturday. Bye.
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 Shalom, my homies.
Shalom.
Born from dust and questioning fire, wielding truth like a sword of desire. Ancient scrolls and cosmic flame, he tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the scars align, knowledge and thunder intertwine. Reason ascends where blind faith fell, he reads the word and he reads it well. The Bible guy, seeker of the light, through time and fire he rides the night, with reason's blade and wisdom's cry. The world shall hear the Bible guy. Scrolls of ages, words aflame, he dares to question every name. From Eden's dawn to Calvary's sky, he breaks the chains of every lie. shines between the